Peace, 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 peace to everybody in the building. Peace. Make sure you hitting that thumbs up as you come in the building. Make sure you clicking that link in the pinned comment section. We are War Family. Make sure you're supporting the war. One of the best ways you can support the war is to click that link. Click that link and share that link with other people. Do that for me, please. We're going to get started in like 5 minutes. Shout out to Justin March, my first moderator, for gifting another membership. Everybody, you can go get your own memberships. You can do that too. And if he gifted you a membership, keep it going. Also, I would say this to you. If you can and you get a membership, try to get it from a computer. Don't try to buy it from your phone, because I just realized something. I think I touched on this before, but I really just realized this. They charge you extra to do it through the phone, and not just a little bit, not a flat fee. Depending on what you get, they put extra money on it. Like if you get like a membership for like $1, they charge you like an extra 50 cents. If you get like a membership for like $3, they charge you like an extra $2 or something like that. That's ridiculous. And none of that extra money goes to me, by the way. So if you can, please get it from the computer. I don't know why Apple doing that. It'd be one thing was just a flat fee, like an extra 50 cents by doing it via Apple. But depending on the level, they charge you more. You know that's right. You know that's a rate. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Shout out to everybody in the building. Again, make sure y'all clicking that link. Make sure y'all doing that. All right, we're going to start in like 2 minutes.
All right, we here. We got to start the show. Again, shout out to Justin March, my first moderator, for gifting that membership. If you want your own membership, go get your own membership. And if he gifts you a membership, keep it going. Also, try to get your membership through a computer instead of through your phone. It'll be cheaper that way. Same membership, but it'll be cheaper. Because if you do it through your phone, I don't get no extra money. They just take extra money from you for some reason. There was another shooting, mass shooting in Louisiana. I did not hear about that. I'm praying for all the victims. Hopefully, people survived and God can be with the loved ones of those who didn't, if there were any casualties. Oh, we're going to start the show off with David. And yeah, as far as I know, David is FBA. That's the reason why they're not talking about it. If it comes out that David is like his grandfather on his mother's side or something like that was Jamaican or something, they're going to start talking about it. They're going to be like Jamaican Tether David. But as of right now, they're not talking about it. Just like the guy who did the shooting in Louisiana, killed 8 people, 7 of them his own children. You ain't hear none of these FBA bozos talking about it. You ain't hear none of them talking about it. But they talking about everything else. Like, we covered that yesterday and the day before. Yes, facts. Thank you. And 5 Point Star, do me a favor. Make sure you hitting this like button and make sure you clicking that link. There's a link in the pinned comment section. Make sure you click that link in that pinned comment section. That's to my second channel. I'm at war right now. They've been flagging all my channels. One of them, they got pretty much a mobility kill on it. So help me out and hit that link. Crazy Kid. Yep. Facts. Facts. That is just a fact. And make sure you too, Crazy Kid, hit the like button and also make sure you hit that link in the pinned comment. I'm at war. Help me out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, rest in peace to those babies. They didn't deserve that. Nobody does, but especially no children. Like, nah, to die like that, nah. Matter of fact, maybe one person deserves to die like that. Let's start this. Let's start this show off right now. This is us covering this dude David again. Now I got no sympathy for him because, again, like I said before, it was a good chance that he did do it, but you never know. But as of right now, I don't care about him because let's get into this. They found a bunch of kitty corn on his phone. Yeah, let's get into this report. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's go. Got 18 in the building. Crazy. We got the number 18, and we got this bozo who liked the kids.
Story number 2. A hearing just wrapped up for singer David in his first-degree murder case.
The prosecution revealed details about disturbing digital evidence. Let's get to CBS LA's Rick Montanez with what we learned in court today. Rick, what are you hearing?
Amy, Chris, the hearing just wrapped up within the half hour here, and cameras were not allowed in court, but I can tell you that the defendant, David Burke, was in court today in shackles and wearing that orange jumpsuit. The biggest new piece of evidence revealed, prosecutors say a significant amount of child porn found on Burke's cell phone. We also want to point out that this all happens one day after the medical examiner's report became public. That is the report on the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The report said,
rest in peace to this young girl.
Or I should say the family of Rivas Hernandez is absolutely devastated to learn the gruesome details contained in that write-up. That's according to a family statement. So this report says the 14-year-old girl died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy was difficult because of the severe decomposition of her dismembered body when it was found in the singer's abandoned Tesla last September. Officials say she died 5 months earlier in April of last year. Burke, the suspect known by his stage name David, was arrested last Thursday. On Monday, he pled not guilty to the capital murder charges. We spoke with a former federal prosecutor just a short time ago here on CBS LA Mornings about this new evidence revealed in today's hearing and the fact that David's phone, according to prosecutors, contains child porn.
And obviously, we don't know if it's Celeste Rivas's images and videos or something else, but that is a significant offense. Obviously, It helps prosecutors prove the sex crimes, the lewd and lascivious, Penal Code Section 288, but it's also a separate crime in and of itself. And it's certainly the possibility that the feds even step into this case because they typically will prosecute these types of child pornography cases.
And we also learned from prosecutors that there is a large amount of digital data that needs to be processed and shared as evidence with the defense. So there is a lot that will happen as this case moves forward, but it will be back in court. Both sides will be back in court on April 29th next week, so they can get an update on where they stand with evidence, whether they need more time to prepare for a potential capital murder trial. Also worth noting, today's date, April 23rd, marks the 1 year since Celeste Rivas Hernandez was last seen alive. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, Rick Montanez, CBS LA.
As y'all heard, this dude, David, is disgusting. Yeah, like I said, nobody deserves to die like that. Maybe David deserves to die like that. He's a total bozo. Total bozo. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me see something. Let me look at the comment section real quick. Somebody said something about... Yes, that's my second channel. Everybody who's just coming in, make sure y'all hit that pin link. Subscribe to my second channel. Help me out. They attacking me. But yes, this guy's a total disgusting bozo. And also, yes, we know about George Macon. We covered him yesterday. And it was painful. I had to end the stream. He's so stupid. Yes, this case, shout out to you, RBG, for the win. And everybody else in the chat room. This whole case is disgusting. It's just terrible. Everybody connected to this case should be in jail, though. There's a lot of people who knew what was going on. You're not just some dude who got a phone full of child porn and you got more stashed away and you openly in a relationship with a 14-year-old and nobody don't know. Everybody who knew about this and had some parts to play in this situation, watching it go on, they need some type of case. Like seriously, like if you knew that this dude was like, he was into kids like that and he was going after kids and you was trying to help cover it up, because again, there's no way he was doing all this without somebody helping to cover this up. Anybody who helped cover it up or participated in it in any way, shape, or form need to go. Need to go. Her classmates knew. Those were kids. I'm talking about adults. I'm talking about adults. I'm not saying no 13-year-old should be in jail because they knew, they quote unquote knew, because she could have been capping. They probably didn't even know for real. I'm talking about the adults in the house, because again, he's a famous singer. He got an entourage. The adults who knew what it was. You say you heard his family refusing to cooperate? Of course, because his family probably knew. Again, ain't no way you got a phone full of child porn and you dating, not even dating, you raping on a 14-year-old in the open, where she know where you live, she be around your house, everybody know, the people who around you know who she is, and they didn't know. They didn't have parts in it. Thank you for the sub, Mighty, one Mighty and Strong. Thank you. But yeah, let's get in it. Let's see some more about this autopsy. He worse than polite because he killed the girl. He worse than polite. Worse. Oh, that's nice. And I'm just gonna block you. Thank you. Yeah, but he's worse than polite. Worse. He killed this girl. Yeah, let's see how she. Oh, let me see. Yeah.
Tonight, disturbing new details on how Celeste Rivas was killed before her dismembered body was found in the trunk of a Tesla belonging to singer David. CBS LA's Hunter Posen live in downtown LA with the autopsy report and what it means for the criminal case against the singer. Hunter?
Yeah, Pat, some of these details really are so tough to hear. So we want to be transparent with our viewers. We are choosing to leave out some of those details because they are simply too graphic, but we are getting our first insights into how the medical examiner says Celeste Rivas Hernandez was murdered. A newly released report gives chilling details into the state of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body when it was found in the trunk of singer David Burke's Tesla last fall. The medical examiner says she died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy made difficult because her body was severely decomposed. Officials say she died in April of 2025 and wasn't found until September, roughly 5 months later. The medical examiner details 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries.
That's important because that's evidence of murder. People aren't killed accidentally with sharp objects.
Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani says this will help the prosecution build their case. The report also reveals her body was dismembered and put into separate cadaver bags, stating she was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees.
The prosecution won't be able to definitively say what that sharp, dangerous object was. They don't have a murder weapon.
The medical examiner's report was initially kept sealed at the request of the LAPD, but with Burke arrested Monday, a judge ordered it released. It is the first time the family is learning these details. They released a statement saying, in part, these findings have caused profound emotional pain for the family. They respectfully ask for privacy, understanding, and patience as they process this information.
There's no question that the facts of this case and the evidence that comes out at trial will be very disturbing for those jurors.
While the report reveals a lot the public did not know about what may have happened before the 14-year-old's death, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Rahmani believes the defense will claim too much time passed for the autopsy to prove what exactly happened, but feels the prosecution has evidence they aren't yet releasing.
They talked about digital evidence. People that are younger, they tend to use their cell phones, and we know that those phones have a treasure trove of information.
And of course, that is information that we are going to be waiting to hear very closely. In addition to first-degree murder, Burke is also facing charges of lewd acts with someone under the age of 14 and mutilating a body. He is being held without bail, but he is expected tomorrow to be in court for a status hearing. Again, something we will be watching very closely. We're reporting live downtown tonight. Hunter Sowards, CBS LA.
Yeah, this dude is disgusting. Matter of fact, this is what the video I was looking for. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, he chopped her up. He's disgusting. Disgusting. And yeah, I know they celebrating what's going on in South Africa. We covered, like I said, we talked about George Macon yesterday. This fool thought that proved FBA point on some level or something like that. This guy's completely insane. But yes, this is what I wanted to show you. This is I'm happy we found this video. Over more than when I said they found more evidence other than just his phone, more than 40 terabytes. You know how big a terabyte is? You know how big over 40 terabytes? This man is sick. Just that alone, he's supposed to get death penalty.
We begin with that breaking news. David appearing in court this morning.
We learned several new details in the case of the singer accused of killing a teenager. Eyewitness News reporter Abigail Velez is live outside the downtown LA courthouse with more. Abigail?
Yeah, Philip, this morning, David sat handcuffed to a chair in an all-orange jumpsuit in front of a judge when prosecutors said they found a massive amount of child pornography on David's iPhone. And that is just one element of evidence in this case. This morning in court, prosecutors revealed that David's iPhone contained what they described a significant amount of child sexual abuse material, evidence they say will be reviewed by forensic experts. They also made clear this is a massive case with a lot of evidence. Prosecutors say they have far more than 40 terabytes of evidence, including data from phones, computers, tablets, and iCloud, where they say David alone had about 3 terabytes stored. So far, only about 30% of all of that evidence has been turned over to the defense because of how massive the volume is. We also learned today 3 grand juries were brought together during this investigation in November, December, and February, showing how long this case has been building. Defense attorneys pushed to move things faster, asking for basic discovery and physical evidence only in the preliminary hearing, arguing much of it is already in prosecutors' hands. Prosecutors say they're anxious to start the preliminary hearing, and so is the Rivas Hernandez family. Now, all of this comes as today marks 1 year since Celeste Rivas Hernandez was last known to be alive, before police say she went to David's rented home in the Hollywood Hills. A newly released autopsy details a violent death, saying she was stabbed multiple times, including a wound that pierced her liver, which experts say would have likely been the fatal one. The next court date is set for next Wednesday as both sides continue to work through what is now one of the largest evidence loads we've seen in a case like this. For now, reporting live at the LA County Courthouse, Abigail Velez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Abigail.
Yeah, this guy's disgusting, and everybody else involved, because they said they got 3 terabytes from him alone, and it's 40 terabytes altogether. So anybody he was sharing this stuff with, anything like that, they all need to be in jail too, just like that. Yeah, a phone can carry like up to like an iPhone, but you got to pay a lot of, you got to buy a special type of one, and it costs a lot of money. They could carry up to like 1 terabyte, and then when you get the iCloud with it, it could carry so much. And again, it wasn't just on his phone, like they said, computers, tablets, all that. This guy's disgusting. He's sick. Everybody involved need, like the family, everybody. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this stuff happened like almost a year ago. That's what I was like, and they found the girl in his car chopped up and everything. Like, come on. Yeah, I would hate to be, I couldn't be no type of special victims cop or something like that, or a jury or juror on a case like this. It'd be like, oh my, this is too much. This is too much. I couldn't even listen to all this stuff. Couldn't. But I just know one thing. If they found all that stuff, just that alone, he need to be in jail, and not even in jail. He need to be in a body bag. Just like that poor little girl who passed that he, I'm not gonna say he murdered, because again, we don't know if he murdered her, but his PDF file behavior, I will say, contributed greatly to her death. Shout out to, we got 40 people in the building. Make sure y'all hitting that link. Make sure y'all hitting that link. What happened in South Africa? I'm assuming you mean South Africa. There was like a xenophobic attack against a guy in Ghana and some Nigerians. So that's why FBA is talking about it. Everybody, make sure y'all hitting this link as y'all come in. Hit that link. Thumbs up. Support the channel. Support the stream. Like, that's free. But yeah, let's get off of that. Yeah, let's switch gears. Rest in peace to that young sister, that young girl. I'm gonna say yeah, rest in peace to that young girl. But yeah, let's switch gears. Let's get on to this. For all y'all who don't know, I just found this out myself. For all y'all who don't know, Lauren Loomer has said something about Candace Owens. I don't know what she said, but I'm pretty sure it's something racist, and it's bad. But we're gonna let the amazing Lucas tell us what happened, because he said it's ugly. So let's get to it.
Cat fight, cat fight, cat fight. Oh my goodness. So it appears that Laura Loomer has stepped into the ring with Candace Owens. And she has some very, very interesting words to say about Candace Owens. She calls her nappy-headed B-word, ghetto. I mean, all the stereotypes. Oh, it's just, you know what? I'm going to let it come out of the horse's mouth.
And for some reason, there's a lot of people that are really afraid of this nappy-headed black bitch who just has a lot to say, but not really a lot to offer. So I'm not afraid of Candace Owens, and I'm happy to match her energy. I'm happy to wrestle in the mud with that bitch and, you know, roll around and hurl insults back and forth with her if that's what she wants to do.
Damn.
Candace Owens is a liar, okay? And she's a deeply insecure woman who is very unloved at the end of the day. This is a woman who is allegedly in a relationship with a gay man. Who is always going to feel the rejection of her family, the rejection of her mother, the rejection of her family that she claims left her alone when she was 14 years old, right, to fend for herself.
Now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. You know, this lady, Laura Loomer, whatever her name is, she always saying some off the border, like, you know, racist stuff to try to get clicks and views, because she has nothing to offer. Oh yes, you said it. You said it better than I could say it. Her face is a hot mess. She don't even really even look human. She don't even look human anymore. Like she like one of them like that thing from Weapons. Like that, the supposed to be the aunt or whatever. Yeah, she looks terrible. But yeah, I don't understand. Somebody said she looked the clown from It. That nah, I think she looked more like that thing from Weapons. Yeah. But yeah, all these names and all these insults, I'm pretty sure Candace Owens is gonna go back and forth with her because Candace Owens, she not like the other the sellouts. She know what she doing. She was a grifter. She got to the right wing by being a grifter. For all you don't know, she used to work for the NAACP. She used to fight against racism, all of that. She even won a major lawsuit for herself fighting against racism, for all the racism she experienced. And then when she realized she couldn't get no more money off being righteous, she grifted and became the red pill girl. And then next thing you know, we got the Candace Owens of today. Do I believe she believes in a lot of that stuff she was saying, even though she knew it was cap when she started? Yes, because I do believe there is a grifter, the true believer pipeline. But I still know that she's still smart enough to understand that these people don't really bang with her like that. And she still knows that these guys are racist. She may believe a lot of that bullshit she be saying about black people. She may believe that's true, but she still knows about the racism and the white supremacy coming from the side she chose to side with for the bag. Yep. Shout out to Naps in the building. Go subscribe to his channel too. He be doing great work. Yeah. Disgusting. But yeah, let's see what's going on.
Let me just say, I love it. 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 I think it is amazing. Let all the tea come out. Let all the dirt come out. When it comes to Candace Owens' sham marriage, we all know that's a sham, right? They got married, after a couple of days of meeting one another? Wait, no, they didn't even meet each other, right? They got married, got proposed online, bam. They didn't even meet each other in person. And it's just, bro,
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Because I was suspicious about the wedding. Not that she's suspicious because I wasn't following her like that, but I was like, dang, she got married out of nowhere. It's like 1 minute she just single, next minute she married to some white guy. Like, how did that happen? Do they even got kids? I don't know. But yeah, let's keep it going. Matter of fact,
that's not a beard. I don't know what to tell you.
He's out of line, but he's right.
So, Milo has the tea. So, oh my goodness, let it all come out. Let Laura Loomer go. I hope they go. I hope they both bash heads.
Let them fight.
If they both were to go bye-bye, that would be a win for me. That would be a W. I don't care either one. Let Laura Loomer get defeated. Let Candace get defeated. This is a clear win. Let them fight. All right?
Yep, you got that right. Let them fight. Who cares what happened to them? Let them fight. Let's see this. Yeah. Like Justin March said, let them fight. Let them fight. Well, yeah, let's look at that. Share this. This is her husband. A dude she allegedly met online and then just got married to. Yeah. Yeah, there might be some blade activity going on with this situation. Yeah, this might be a beard. Like he might have been with that with the Milo dude. Yeah. Yeah, this is what this looking like. Do they got kids? Candace Owens. Oh, they got kids. Oh, okay. Hopefully, those allegations that he's like some down low dude who just using her as a beard, so he just having kids with her just to say, "Look at me, I'm straight," and he don't really care about her or the kids. Maybe he care about the kids, but he don't care about her, and he just playing with dudes behind her back. Maybe, matter of fact, maybe that's her reward for all her cooning, that she ended up in an interracial relationship with a DL white man who doesn't care about her, and that she got to fake like they in love when they not really in love, and she'll never have no true love. Maybe that's her how they say karma. Maybe that's her karma for all her behavior. But let's get back to Amazing Lucas. Shout out to the 55 people in the building. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let me see something. We got people talking about her. Yeah, that could have been, lavender marriage. Yeah, it could have been a fake marriage. But you know, you gotta have kids. If you don't have kids, then that's gonna let people know that the marriage is fake. So y'all both this young, y'all married like that overnight, and then y'all been together for years and y'all don't got no kids. That would look suspicious. That would look suspicious. Real suspicious. Real suspicious. Oh, you said they had 4 kids together? I didn't even know she had that many kids. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, he a billionaire? He could have chose way better than that. But maybe he felt like she'll keep his secrets better. Because it's obvious she a grifter, and she in it, and like I said, it's obvious to a duck Candace Owens is a grifter, and she doing what she do for the bag. So what better person to have a sham marriage with than a grifter? What better person?
And all this nappy-headed ghetto B word and all this, bruh.
I just remember her always talking about how she wanted to be like a suburban wife. Like she wanted to drive like a black Escalade. She used to talk about how Club Monaco was her favorite store, and she always just wanted to have like a white husband.
What?
And be like, you know, married to like a established white man. And she used to tell me like, oh, I don't date black men.
Wake up, nigga.
And she's like, in fact, when I was in high school, I was known as the girl that would like go to the club and basically steal your man. And she would tell me these stories about how there were all these like rich, pretty, like blonde white girls with blue eyes who had everything in the world. They were like popular girls. And Candace said, oh yeah, I would always like go to the clubs and go out and like make out with their boyfriends and basically be like, I could take your man, bitch.
This is a sick Negro. I want everyone to understand, this is how the Republican Party, this is how these conservatives, this is how they view you as a black person.
Exactly. She sound upset because she might be lying, but she might be telling the truth, because it kind of looked like that's Candace's get down. That looked like that's kind of her get down. And she might be upset. She might sound upset that she couldn't do that. She couldn't go and do that. She couldn't get married to a billionaire. She couldn't go to take the established white men who are successful, take them from their girls who had blonde hair and blue eyes. Maybe she mad she couldn't do that. It could be. But I think the Amazing Lucas is about to say this is her nigga wake-up call, but I don't really believe it's a nigga wake-up call, because again, like I said, Candace Owens is a grifter. She understands racism. She probably understands racism better than me. She probably understands racism better than the Amazing Lucas. She know what she's doing. That's what makes her so bad. This was a calculated decision to say, I'm going to switch sides because I believe that side is the winning side. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm seeing from this. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that. Because again, I don't even follow her like that. I just know that like she be saying racist stuff and she be looking like that lady from Weapons.
The party. Now, no matter what you do, no matter how nice your suit is, no matter how articulate you are, no matter how many fights you've gone to bat for them, at the end of the day, this is how they view you. At the end of the day, you are nothing more than, as she said, a nappy-headed ghetto B word, okay? Now, I will say at one point in time, I myself was like, you know what? All right, the Republicans are actually fighting for black people. It's the Democrats who are the real racists, all right? You got to get off the Democrat plantation, okay? That's what you have to understand. And I genuinely believe that, hey, they were here to help. Because they're like, yo, you have to understand, Lucas, listen, the first black people were Republicans. Did you know that? They won't tell you that. I was like, okay, oh, wow, I didn't know all this. This is very interesting. And then it comes to action, right? Then it's like, well, hey, how about we help, the mortality rate of Black women in the hospitals, right? We're all pro-life here, yeah, right? And then they're like, no, not right now, not right now. We got big.
Oh yeah, I'm happy the amazing Lucas said that, because like I did hear from people, and I think I did see some stuff before from him where it's like, come on, man, are you a Republican? Are you really think the Republicans are our friends? Like, you really talking that Democratic plantation? Mind you, that Democratic plantation talking point really got big by from Candace Owens, by the way. Again, that's what makes her so bad. She's like Stephen from Django Unchained. Stephen knew what was going on. He knew he made a choice. He made a choice to sit around and be acting like he's decrepit, can't really talk, and help them out like that. He made a choice. He made a choice. Just like Candace Owens. She made a choice. She made a choice. Oh, this is his redemption arc? All right. Cool. I'm here for it. Because as far as I know, he didn't cross no lines where it's like, nah, you got to stay over there. He not like Candace Owens. Candace Owens is officially Steven status. Like, when we say all the Black people get out of here, no, you right where you belong. Stay right here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hitting that like button and make sure you hitting that link. Make sure you supporting the stream any way you can. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't doubt that she's a desperate woman, because she always and her wants to be with a white man is probably what drove the desperation. That could have been one of the reasons, not just the money. It could have been that she knew she was never going to get the white man she wanted by fighting racism. So she made a choice. She made the choice.
Things right now. Then it's like, okay. Well, what about reparations, right? The 40 acres and a mule, that was under, Abraham Lincoln, who's a Republican. It was Andrew Johnson, a Democrat, who removed it. So wouldn't that be the best thing for the Republicans, to champion would be, reparations for the sins of chattel slavery, right? No, we don't believe in that. You weren't a slave. I wasn't a slave owner. No, I don't think so. Okay, all right. Well, what about Chicago, right? You guys constantly talk about Chicago. How about y'all run someone in Chicago and clean it up? How about that? Help out, the Black youth out there. Yeah, no, that's a waste of resources. We're not going to go to Chicago. What? Have you been to Chicago? No, that's not going to happen. Then it's slowly, over time, you begin to realize, well, I don't know. It seems like you guys talk all this smack about the Democrats, but you yourselves seem to be making a lot of profit, a lot of fundraising off of exploiting and targeting Black people. It seems like you just want to mock and ridicule Black people. And then when you call them out in the hypocrisy,
you don't get to ask those questions.
Oh, wow. So you're a racist, huh? I knew you were going to be a libtard. I knew it was only a matter of time before that was going to happen. It's always you people. You guys just turn. You guys are just like, man, just horrible. And that's what happens. That's genuinely what happens. They get called out on their do nothing. That at the end of the day, you have to understand the current Republican Party, current conservatives, they're not about free speech. They're not about gun rights. They're not about equality. They don't care about Black America. They don't even care about themselves.
And she would say,
Hello? Oh, man. Did y'all hear me? Oh, man. StreamYard keep cutting out with audio. I'm tired of this. But like I was saying, Dad, what was I saying? I lost my whole train of thought. I can't believe StreamYard does this. It keep cutting out. But anyway, yeah, that's nasty work. I can't believe she got drunk at a party and did that. And you said it's on tape? We might have to watch that tape. We might have to watch that tape. Matter of fact, I'm about to go look that up right now while we talk about this. But like he said, everything he said was true. White supremacy is not about uplifting white people. It's not about that. It's about keeping black people down because they can do both. They can do both. They can do both, but they don't do both. We know they can do both from American history, but they don't do both. They don't do both. They do not do both because they don't want to do both. They just want to keep black people down. They don't care about other white people. They don't care about them. They don't care about nobody. They don't even care about themselves. They don't care about themselves. Yeah. Yeah, it probably went on mute because it does that sometimes. Thank you again for saying what you were saying. But yeah, it's disgusting. They don't care about nobody. Let's get back to this video.
There's something just like really satisfying to me about being a black girl from the hood, being able to like walk into a ritzy bar in Greenwich and leave with the hottest white guy there and basically like ruin the relationship of like the popular white girl. This is how she used to speak.
What the hell did you just say? The Republican Party exists.
Exactly. That sounds like jealousy. Because again, like what we just heard from Lee, we saw in the comment section, you probably wish you could do that. You probably wish you could go into a room full of white supremacists and be like a bunch of racist white men who established and be like, hey, I'm Jewish. Come on, let's go. And take them from their quote unquote Aryan wife or whatever the case may be. But you couldn't, so you're mad that Candace Owens told you as a black woman she could do that. And she did do that. And she got the husband that you wanted.
To just simply target black people and other people who are who are melanated, right? Black, brown, Indian, doesn't matter, okay? Especially if you're black. They don't care if they lose. Do you understand? They just want to make sure you lose. They're not even looking to win. That's what really got me off, just really messed with my head. Because when it came to the police brutality situation, I was covering stories of white people who were victims of police brutality. They didn't care about those stories. You'll never see those stories on Fox News. You'll never see a conservative cover that. They don't care about that. But when it comes to a black victim, they love those stories. So it gets to the point where this lineage of evil, they care so little about their own well-being, they just want you to lose. They just want you to be eviscerated. They just want you to suffer. They will white knuckle it just to see you suffer. Damn. And at that point, I was like, oh, y'all crazy. And
again, that's what I was saying also about the white lefties, why they can't be trusted, because they will ally themselves with white people who don't care about themselves. They just want to see black people suffer. They will ally with them in a heartbeat. And that's why that stuff never trickles down and helps black people, because the white people they allied with to bring that into fruition will destroy it the moment those white lefties try to give some of that to black people. Just like they did the great progressive era. FDR, Truman, Eisenhower, the first rhino, Republican in name only, JFK, LBJ. Who destroyed that progressive? How did the great progressive era that created the middle class that was the envy of the world, biggest middle class in human history, how did it get destroyed? Because white people started voting Republican. Why did they do that? Because LBJ said, hey, maybe black people should be able to get a little something. And they went against it. They destroyed themselves. They was literally on the moon. They threw it all away just to make sure black people didn't get anything. These people, it's a death cult. White supremacy is a death cult. And I found the video too. We're going to get into that.
Like fucking my boyfriend while we were dating and like ruined our relationship. And I act like it's okay, but like it's really sad because like I love when people like keep, tradition in their relationships. Fucking my boyfriend while we were dating and like ruined our relationship. And I act like it's okay, but like it's really sad because like I love when people like keep, tradition in their relationships. It's just really sad. Your hair and your eyes look so good. You're like beautiful.
Thank you.
You're like an Aryan degenerate goddess.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. You're Aryan too.
I know, but I'm Jewish.
It's okay.
Because you're such a cutie.
Don't mess my hair. God damn it. Fix it. Fix my hair. Did you fix it?
I did. But like that picture you posted on Instagram recently when you got like reinstated on Facebook was so hot. Like seriously.
I appreciate it.
It's so good.
It's a good picture.
Your skin and the Nazis hate me.
It's fun.
The alt-right people want to put me in a gas chamber because they're obsessed with the Jews.
I think they're just memeing on you, but it's okay.
It's okay.
all right.
I don't care. I love it.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I know. They're just jealous because I have big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You got it.
Anyway, next time you're in New York, let me know. We'll hang out. Bring your girlfriend to New York sometime and we'll all hang out. We'll go to like really cool restaurants and hang out and we'll have a blast.
Yes,
It'll be so
I will
much
bring
fun.
my girlfriend.
Yeah, I want to meet. What's Becca?
Yeah.
Becca.
Yes.
She's so sweet.
You remembered.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, you'll meet her.
You guys are so sweet. I hope
Thank
it
you.
works out because like I said, I know it's all in that. Like I know everything you do on Twitter is like so fake and not real, but
Yeah,
like
it's all fake.
it's so sweet that you like and your girlfriend have been together for 3 years. I love it.
I know. It's
So many,
all an act.
Do you know something? Like I'm gonna tell you a secret. Like, do you know so many people in this movement who preach trad life are like fucking people on the side and like cheating on their partners?
That's
like,
so
Like
bad.
they're not even like really trad life.
Such
like,
scum.
like my ex is like dating somebody who's like super trad life, and she was like fucking my boyfriend while we were dating and like ruined our relationship. And I act like it's okay, but like it's really sad because like I love when people like keep tradition in their relationships. It's just really sad.
Yes. So we just saw that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex.
We just saw that. As a matter of fact, is this the new shooting in Louisiana? Another mass shooting. I think this is the same one. But yeah, we getting off that. But like I said, that's jealousy. You see, everything she just accused Candace Owens of doing, she was just trying to do. And it failed. It failed. That's what this is. That's jealousy. You wanted to be able to walk into the bar and go up to the racist white guy who's established and all that other stuff, who has a blue-eyed, blonde hair white woman as a girlfriend and steal that man. You wanted to do that and you couldn't. You got rejected. You humiliated yourself. Total embarrassment. Total embarrassment. And I think that's why she mad, because Candace Owens probably told her that story, and Candace Owens probably did it in front of her too. So she probably thought like, oh, if you can do that, I can do that too. And we see obvious fail. Obvious fail. That's crazy. Yeah, that's what this is. This is hate. This is hate. This is black woman envy. This is black woman envy from the woman who liked the thing from Weapons. Yes. And you could, like you said, Justin March, you could tell she smelled. You could tell she smelled. You could see how he kept moving his head like he's Stevie Wonder. Every time she kept getting closer and closer. You could tell she smelled, bro. Nobody don't want you. Exactly. Exactly. You see? The black woman charm is triggering the hate. That chocolate magic triggering the hate. That's the only reason you say that, because you said that like what Candace Owens was doing was a bad thing. But then we watch a video of you trying to do the same thing and humiliating yourself and failing. I bet you Candace Owens didn't even have to talk down on her blackness to get those white boys. She looked like the shit from Weapons, bro. Let me go to this shit. Let me go to this shit. Let me see. Let's get to this skin. She looked like this shit. Can y'all see the screen? The screen? I said the screen. The screen. She looked like this shit from Weapons, bro. She looked like the shit from Weapons. Just a younger version of this shit from Weapons without the glasses. Tell me I'm capping. Look at this shit from Weapons. Like, look at this shit. Now, let's type in. This is the same shit, just with less makeup. If you take away the makeup and the glasses, this is the shit from Weapons, bro. This is the shit from Weapons. I dare you say they not the same person, bro. They the same person. This is the shit from Weapons. Just with like, come on, man. Peace to everybody in the building. You know I got the receipts. This is the shit from Weapons. Make sure y'all, we got like over 70 people in the building. Make sure y'all hitting that link. The pinned link, hit that. And go subscribe to my second channel. Support the war effort. I rebuke D2. Yeah, like this the shit from Weapons, bro. Like, come on, I'm about to do that. I'm like, come on, we about to look. Y'all, take a look at this face. Let's go back. The same shit, bro. Same shit. The shit from Weapons. Let me see if I can get a picture of her with a closed mouth. Shit from Weapons. Just a younger version that's not as pale. The shit from Weapons with a tan and no glasses. This is the shit from Weapons, bro. Come on, man. Come on. Y'all know I'm not capping, man. The shit from Weapons. But yeah, let's get back to this video. Because yeah, we carrying on a little too much with this video. Let's get back to this shit. Here we go. Shout out to everybody in the building. Like, come on, man. That's the shit from Weapons, man. Y'all ain't fooling me.
And it gets to a point where every single black conservative, every single one of these pundits, they come to this conclusion. So it either goes down to integrity or you close your mouth and you keep the check. And you see, that's what many of these people do. They close their mouth and they keep the check in their tap dance.
Candace Owens is just this one resentful ghetto black bitch. Like, that's literally what she is.
And the same thing goes for Candace Owens. She knew exactly who these people were, but she wanted the attention. She wanted the fame. She wanted her name. That's what she's always wanted. She's a narcissist, just like Trump, right? And the thing is, when it comes to Trump, Trump is a bigger narcissist than everyone else. He has the power of the pen. He has the power of the United States government at his disposal. So he's lambasting, ridiculing these people. He called out Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, all of them, bro. Completely ostracized them. Now, if they know what's good for them, they'll keep quiet and leave, Trump's name out of their mouth before the DOJ starts to look into them. In addition to that, what I also find humorous is that all these groups, the Fulfillment by Amazon people, ADOS, especially Yvette Carnell has the lowest IQ I've ever come across, right? Because you had Yvette Carnell.
That's not true. Yvette Carnell does not have the low IQ. She's just like Candace Owens. She knows exactly what she's doing. Yvette Carnell is probably the most educated person of anybody who pushes the ADOS ideology. She literally created it. She was a board member of a white nationalist group. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's more like Candace Owens than most realize. She's not stupid. She knows exactly what she's doing. She made a choice.
ADOS talking about, Donald Trump was, reaching out to the black community by being around rappers, that had resonated with them.
And I think Trump did campaign to them through symbolism. Even in terms of black men, he was out with rappers. He was out with a lot of people. And I think that was kind of a suggestion of what I'm going to do for you.
What? Yes, she was. No. She was right. She never said that. She said that. Look, let's bring that back. She was right about what she said about him being around rappers trying to get
resonated with them.
And I think Trump did campaign to them through symbolism. Even
if fact, Trump did campaign to black men through symbolism by pardoning certain people, by talking about having a jail record, by having rappers and stuff around him. He did campaign to black men with sneakers, pure symbolism. He didn't offer them nothing. He was campaigning to a segment of the black male population that way. The way that people claim the Democrats campaign to all black people, Donald Trump was literally campaigning like that to black people.
In terms of black men, he was out with rappers, he was out with a lot of people, and I think that was kind of a suggestion of what I'm going to do for you.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
And I'm like, bruh, what are you talking about? So you're telling me that when Trump came out with the sneakers, that was his pitch to the black community?
No. She was saying that was his symbolism pitch. Like she didn't say it was a good thing. She didn't say it was actual like that. Like this is why we need to support Trump. She didn't say all that.
It was him reaching out to the black community, letting them know that this is what he's going to do for them. Huh? This is the low IQ, political low IQ that I'm talking about. You even have with the fulfillment by Amazon people talking about, well, Trump ain't never done nothing against black people. You know that. And it's like, what? I have multitudes of videos of.
Oh, yes. The FBA people who say that. Yes, that's true. They do say that. But like, again, that thing that you said, Yvette Carnell was trying to say, that's what the FBA bozos be saying. She wasn't saying that. She was just pointing out something that Trump was actually doing.
Trump doing things against black Americans, of his policies, of his regulations, of his party that are negatively impacting black Americans. So for them, right, at the time that I was, with MAGA, I was, a Sambo soldier. But now I'm like, yo, listen, we got to become politically, literate. Now they're all like, well, now you a Democrat, chill. And you have to understand, this is all funded, bro. If you think this is all organic, it's not. I'm just letting you know. One thing that I know about this country, that it will do anything in its power to make black people attention focus on everything that's non-important. All right. The moment in time you start focusing on politics, you start focusing on who's running, on what they stand for, on what power you have in certain areas, certain locations, that's when they will say, hey, look over here. Oh, look, let's delineation. What about this? What about, the immigrants? What about that? That's what they do, bruh. That's what they do. And they always do it. So I'm just saying that it's this is what happens. This is the end of that story. That at the end of the day, you can either fight for what is right, or you can, I guess, put your head down and know that everyone in this room considers you a nappy-headed ghetto B. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think.
Shout out to Amazing Lucas again. Yes, I'm happy he covered this because I wouldn't even have covered it. And by him covering this, I got to see the thing from Weapons. So yeah. That's what he just said. Yeah, he said he used to be a MAGA soldier until he realized that they wasn't going to actually do anything for black people. He fell for the propaganda. So that's what he said. So I'm going to ride with what he said. So I'm happy he got off that train because, again, like I said, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything that he actually did that would say, all right, you Steven status. You can't come back over here. I just got your email. Okay, we probably cover that tomorrow because it's like I don't want because it is getting kind of late and I don't want to. And people talk about like, all right, your streams be going too long and it's late, but we probably definitely cover that tomorrow. But shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hitting that link. Make sure you hitting that link. Correct? Yvette Carnell is the final boss. I do not know the name of those statues on Easter Island. I do not know them. I do not know them at all. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, let's switch topics real quick. As you can see on your screen, this is Student White Lies talking about lawsuits against reparations. Now, I have not watched this video, but I'm pretty sure he's going to talk about the lawsuits against reparations. And he's going to find some way to blame the Democrats, even though it's the Republicans who are doing it. And also, it was him and people like him trying to push for Donald Trump to win that created this whole environment. So yeah, let's get into this. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got like 80 people in the building. Make sure you hitting that like button. Make sure you hitting that pinned comment. Make sure you hit it. Do me that favor, family. Support the war effort. Let's get into this.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. You've often heard me talk about the Black infant mortality rate, and I know that it's not exactly the sexiest subject to talk about, but the truth of the matter is I feel it imperative to remind you that a people who have no children are also a people who have no future. We also have to remember the Black maternal mortality rate, because when you start slaughtering the mothers of a people, you make sure that there can be no children. This does not happen to Black America by accident. This is an intentional, deliberate policy. And the policy of murdering Black babies and their mothers is being openly defended. There's a group in California calling itself Californians for Equal Rights. They're a group of
That's a fact. What he said is a fact. If you murdering the children and you murdering the women, there can be no people. Like I said before, I got a video coming up talking about the Black birth rate and how the Black birth rate is officially lower than the white birth rate. And the Black death rate is like through the roof. It's a reason. There's supposed to be over 100 million Black people in America by now. But we have that number because of things like this. Not just this, but things like this. Disgusting. And they want to attack Black immigrants.
Asian-led right-wing extremist. Even the name is pure propaganda. It's one of those cynical strategies that the white right pioneered decades ago, where they would take some issue of the left and then they would name some sort of policy or organization after it, like the so-called Clear Skies Initiative or the Healthy Forest Initiatives, No Child Left Behind, etc. All of them were right-wing schemes meant to do exactly the opposite of what their names said. And we see them continuing to run the same play over and over, like Ed Blum, for instance. His front group has almost the exact same name, American Alliance for Equal Rights. That's how you know that there's a program at work here. CFER's website boasts that they've sued or are suing a number of programs and policies in California, and they brag that they've done so successfully. So that tells you everything you need to know about liberal California. And not surprisingly, most of the policies and proposals that they sue have to do with Black people. These guys are not for equal rights. They are against Black rights, starting with the right to live. They don't actually advocate for anything. They're just fighting against what they don't like, and what they don't like are Black people. If they were interested in equal rights, then they would be suing hospitals for what are blatantly disparate medical outcomes, lethal outcomes between Black and non-Black patients. Instead, the CFER organization doesn't even mention it. That's because silence equals assent.
Exactly. Again, he's teaching right now because, like, I did a report about this before, and I think Professor Black Troop, matter of fact, I don't think, I'm pretty sure he did when he first came out, about how almost 1 million Black people died in the hospital in a way that if they were white, they wouldn't have died. And that's just what they confirmed. Like 1 million, I think I did a video about this. Yeah, I did several videos about this. Almost 1 million Black people died in 1 decade. In 1 decade. And that's just confirmed deaths. That these Black people's deaths were directly caused by them being Black. Because if they weren't Black, they would have got the treatment that they were supposed to get, and they would have survived. This ain't have nothing to do with age. This ain't have nothing to do with socioeconomic status. This ain't have nothing to do with money, insurance, availability of treatment, none of that. This was just pure racism. Almost 1 million Black people. And that's what I be talking about when I be telling people about you can't, and that's why I had to get on a lot of people when they used to be like, they used to be worrying about so many topics because white people talking about it. You can't worry about that. You got to look at your own community and see what's going on in your community. Like, people talk about crime. Yeah, we don't like crime. But the way Black people are dying in the healthcare system is a way bigger issue than crime could ever be. Way bigger. Way bigger. Way bigger issue. Yeah, let's keep it going.
Don't fight against the deaths of Black babies and their mothers because they want Black babies and their mothers dead. Attacking a program aimed at reducing Black infant mortality while intentionally not so much as acknowledging that the situation even exists, that is indisputable proof that their goal and their mission is solely to maintain and perpetuate Black deaths. These are not grassroots groups. These are AstroTurf sock puppets for wealthy, mostly white racists. CFER's website also lists their so-called advisors, who are practically all white, and not surprisingly, one of their advisors is Chris Rufo. So that's how you know he's the Manhattan Institute's man on the scene. That's how you know the Manhattan Institute, one of the premier anti-Black hate engines of America, is behind this organization. This is all happening because nothing occurs in a vacuum under white supremacy. It's all connected. The same handful of racist white bigots who prop up the Chris Rufos and the Ed Blums are the exact same ones who are also bankrolling and supporting these guys too. And the goal of these anti-Black racists at CFER is not to have health care for everyone. Everybody already has health care except Black people. This is about making sure that the status quo doesn't change. Everyone knows that Black infants and their mothers die at disproportionately higher rates than anyone else because they're intentionally ignored and dismissed no matter how serious their condition. People like CFER understand that too, and they're determined to keep it that way. We see this group, by the way, is also suing San Francisco over their admittedly empty reparations proposal, merely a proposal. Now, before we go any further, I should remind you what we're talking about. San Francisco passed a local measure that they claimed was a so-called reparations fund, except it was all a lie because the mayor said that the city wasn't going to contribute even 1 penny to it. Instead, he said that if private interests wanted to donate to this reparations fund, then they could do so. So the city sets up a reparations fund and then doesn't fund it. This was a huge nothing burger, and yet this Californians for Equal Rights group sued the city over it. But look at the grounds that they were using. They claim that the fund is discriminatory on the basis of race and ancestry. Now, that's a point that the white right understood that they needed to reach, and the white...
Of course, they pointed that out because, again, y'all be saying lineage. Because, again, like I told y'all, I said when y'all was pointing doing this, oh, we can't use race, we can't say race because they're going to talk about, oh, they don't... that could include anybody who's Black, even people who didn't come here, who from different countries when it comes to reparations. And then that's when y'all started talking this nonsense, pushing lineage. And I said, bozo, it don't matter what you call yourself. It don't matter how you phrase it. They know who they targeted. So you could say we not doing race no more. We doing lineage. Okay. Now they talking about ancestry. Okay. Y'all not doing race no more. All right. Y'all doing lineage. All right. Well, we targeted ancestry. Oh, y'all doing ethnicity now? Y'all not doing race? We targeted ethnicity. They know who they going after. So no amount of name changes is going to save you. That's like if I want to kill people with red shirts. Just because you stop calling your shirt red don't mean nothing to me. I know who I want to get. You could be like, oh, this shirt is not technically red. It's burgundy. I know that's red to me. I don't care if you call it burgundy, red. I don't care what you call it. I know who I want. I know who I want. Matter of fact, a better example. I want to kill you. You assume I want to kill you because you got a red shirt on. I talk about I want to kill this guy right here because he got a red shirt. You take off the red shirt and you think I'm not trying to kill you no more. And you put on a blue shirt. I'm going to be like, all right, I want this guy right here with the blue shirt. You take off the blue shirt, put on a green shirt. I want the guy with the green shirt. They know who they want. They want you. It don't matter. They just using the shirt to describe you. Taking off the shirt is not going to help you. Changing your name is not going to help you. Changing the way you identify is not going to help you. It's just going to confuse you into thinking that you can solve it by doing something superficial like that. It don't work like that. In fact, I found the video. I want to just play this part real quick before we keep going, because I know he's going to find a way to try to blame Democrats or something like that. Let me see. Can y'all see the screen right here? I think this is the part of the video. We're going to see. And shout out to Justin Marsh. And yeah, Medical Apartheid. I read that book. That book made me cry. And if you can read it, read it. It's a great book. Great book. Still valid to this day. As you saw, family, that was a horrible, painful death that Barbara Dawson, 57 years young, suffered for no reason. That was not necessary. And stuff like that made me do some research. And then this is what I came across, because this issue of Black people in the healthcare system has always been on my heart for a very long time because of my own issues and family issues and friends and stories I've heard over the years. But this is what I came across. This is from NBC News. Links will be in the description box below. So if you want to read the whole article yourself. Blacks dying for lack of health care. More than 886,000 deaths could have been prevented from 1991 to 2000 if African Americans had received the same care as whites. According to an analysis in the December issue of the American Journal of Public Health, the study estimates that technological improvements in medicine, including better drugs, devices, and procedures, averted only 633 deaths during the same period. Look at that. Almost 1 million Black people died in less than 10 years because they didn't receive the same care as white people. That's another reason why I always refuted the whole concept that crime is the biggest issue in the Black community. Because if you take Black deaths, and like when you talking about, you take the most out there, unverifiable source with the biggest number, and you take it as truth, not even a fourth of the amount of Black people have died from murder from the 80s all the way to the 2010s. If you add it all up, you don't even get like a fourth of this number. That's from the 80s to the 2010s. This is not even 10 years. This is not even 1 decade. Almost 1 million Black people dead who should not be dead. This is people's kids, parents, grandparents, family, other family members, friends, associates, just people in the community who are dead, old, young, who should not be dead. They should be here, but they're dead because they didn't receive the same quality of care. And racism plays a huge role in that. This is what makes somebody like RFK being the health secretary such a bad thing. It is a big deal. Yes. Like, again, I'm not going to play that whole video. That's an old video on my channel. I think that I did this video like a year ago. Yeah, over a year ago. This video is over a year old. You can watch it yourself. And somebody mentioned Serena. We're going to go to the part about Serena. Like, because, yeah, I covered the whole thing. This clip.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Tennis star Serena Williams and her husband, Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian, recently welcomed into the world their daughter, Alexis Olympia Ohanian Jr. The baby was born on September 1st by emergency C-section. Williams recently told Vogue magazine how she self-diagnosed a life-threatening emergency after giving birth. Shortly after delivering, the tennis star suddenly felt out of breath and assumed she was having a pulmonary embolism given her history of blood clots. According to Vogue, quote, she walked out of the hospital room so her mother wouldn't worry and told the nearest nurse between gasps that she needed a CT scan with contrast and IV heparin, a blood thinner, right away. The nurse thought her pain medicine might be making her confused. But Serena insisted, and soon enough a doctor was performing an ultrasound of her legs. I was like, a Doppler? I told you I need a CT scan and a heparin drip, she remembers telling the team. The ultrasound revealed nothing, so they sent her for the CT, and sure enough, several small blood clots had settled in her lungs. Minutes later, she was on the drip. I was like, listen to Dr. Williams. While Vogue did not identify the hospital, several news outlets reported St. Mary's Medical Center in West Palm Beach is the hospital where Serena Williams gave birth.
What happened to Serena Williams is not an isolated event. Every year in the United States, between 700 and 900 women die from causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. For every woman who dies, dozens more experience severe and sometimes life-threatening complications annually. Here in New York City, Black mothers are 12 times more likely to die than white mothers. That staggering statistic comes from a new investigation by ProPublica. For more, we are continuing our conversation with with Annie Waldman in part 2, a reporter at ProPublica who wrote the article, How Hospitals Are Failing Black Mothers. The article reveals that women who deliver at hospitals that disproportionately serve African-American mothers are at a higher risk of danger. The piece is part of a larger year-long ProPublica investigation called Lost Mothers, Maternal Care and Preventable Deaths. We began, Annie, this segment by talking about Serena Williams.
Exactly. Again, that's why I was telling people, it's not about money. It's not about money. This is pure racism. It don't matter if you got the money. It don't matter if you're famous. Serena Williams is one of the richest, most famous self-made women in the world. Recognizable, self-made, richest women in the world. And she almost died. It was her white husband who had to step in and make them do that stuff that she was asking for that saved her life. If that white man wasn't there, she would have died. If her husband was black, she would have died, because they definitely wouldn't have been listening to no black man. She would have died. She would have died. She would have died. This is what was going on, family. This is what's going on in the community. This is what we dealing with. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can y'all still hear me or no? Because now it's saying it's doing that again, where I'm being muted. So give me a 1 in the chat if you still can hear me. Yes, RFK is worse than Dr. Fauci. He's 1,000 times, he's 1,000,000 times worse than him. 1,000,000. Shout out to you, RBG, for the win. Yeah. Like I said, like I've been doing stuff like this. Like I said, like that's another thing when people be like, oh, you don't be teaching on your channel. All you do is talk about FBA. You never provide no real information. I do that stuff all the time. It's just that y'all FBA bozos, y'all flag the channels down, or y'all just ignore those videos. They act like they don't exist. All right, I got one. Yeah. Like I did a whole video just teaching about that. About the dangers of the healthcare system for black people. Disgusting. Now let's get into this, because I know he's gonna try to say, oh, look at this, look at that, and then he's gonna try to blame black immigrants and blame Democrats. I couldn't find the video also because I heard somebody mention about FBA blaming black immigrant healthcare workers for mistreating black people. But how many deaths can be attributed to black immigrant healthcare workers? And I deleted that video again, or it got deleted. Matter of fact, I think it got deleted, where Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks was literally crying about a Nigerian doctor talking about how she wants to be a positive influence to black children in America and want to encourage them to go into the medical field. They was literally crying about it. Literally crying about it. Yes, FBA loves to lie to themselves. And yes, it's incredibly sad because, again, as I was growing up, and even as an adult, we would hear about people dying in hospitals, and it never sat right. It'd be like, how did Whoop-de-Whoop die in that hospital? And it's like, something is wrong here. We don't know what's wrong, but that hospital did something. There's no way that this person died. It's no way. It's no way that this person died. We couldn't explain it. We didn't know why, but we just felt it in our spirit. And that's why I said this was important. This was an important issue to me. And I was looking into it. And then that's when I seen all this stuff. I read Medical Apartheid. I researched it. That's why I said in that video, and I always maintain to this day, healthcare for black people is the biggest issue. Is not the biggest issue, but it is a way bigger issue than crime. You got a way better chance of going to the hospital and dying on some racist shit because you ain't get the proper medical treatment than you do being a victim of crime as a black person from another black person, like being murdered. Again, like we counting the murders. Way better chance. You got a way better chance of getting killed in a hospital because you didn't get the proper health care than you got of getting murdered on the street by another black person in black on black crime. Shout out to Lee D. Clinton for setting it off with the 10. How is he 1,000,000 times worse? Because he's an open racist. He has no medical background. He literally fucked himself up. Remember, the reason why RFK talks the way he talks is because he ate a bear, and the parasites from the bear got into his ate parts of his brain away. Remember, RFK sounds the way he sounds, not because he was born with any type of disability. He sounds the way he sounds because he literally cooked bear meat and tried to eat it medium rare, and it had parasites in it, and the parasites literally hatched in his body and swam up from his stomach to his brain and ate his brain. He literally has holes in his brain because parasites ate parts of his brain away. Literally brain rot. Yes, brain worms ate his brain. This dude, RK, is literally responsible for the deaths of children in like some island somewhere because he was trying to run medical experiments on the children. Ex-dope fiend. Ex-dope fiend. On top of that, in that video that I just played parts of it with RK talking about how black people don't need the same vaccinations as white people. And also, he talked about how black people are more likely to have ADHD or autism or something like that. So the best way to treat that is to put them in a camp with no cell phones or nothing like that and make them grow food. That sounds like slavery to me. So we're going to take black people and we're going to put them in a camp. We're going to let RK decide which black people should be put in the camp. He's going to put them in a camp and take away their connections to the outside world and make them farm. That's what he said he wants to do. Yeah. RK is way worse. Yeah. Drug addict, not just an ex-dope fiend, just all around drug addict, doing mad stupid shit that he's still doing. And he don't got a full brain. And he don't got a full brain. But yeah, let's get back to this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hitting that link in the pinned comment section. Make sure you thumbing up the stream.
The left wanted to help them to reach. This is an attack on the principle of lineage-based reparations. That's what this is. Someone's trying to get out in front of it, and this is what this effort looks like.
Exactly. It is an attack on lineage-based reparations, and it's your fault, you dummies. I told you that was going to happen. You thought y'all was going to say lineage or ancestry and escape this racism? You're dumb. This was always told to y'all. I said, listen, you can't give the racist power, because if you give the racist power, they're going to attack black people. Y'all kept saying y'all wasn't scared. Y'all kept saying Trump wasn't really a racist. Y'all kept saying the Democrats was the real racist. Yada, 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 yada. Now look, you literally got a racist white man suing in court to keep black people from getting reparations at any level. At any level. And he knows he's going to win in court. Why? Because ultimately, no matter what other courts say, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is 6-3 conservative because Donald Trump won in 2016. And I remember I was saying this. People like Roland Martin was saying this about how important that election was and how y'all better get out here and vote. Y'all better get out here and vote, because if they take that court, it might be a wrap. Like this Supreme Court, if like something don't happen, may look like this, may have this type of makeup for the next 40 years, which means for the next 40 years, people can, these racists can get pretty much anything they want through by just suing in federal court and pushing it to the Supreme Court. Any I'm white and I say so lawsuit is going to get through and win, which means that, again, like I said, even if y'all found the perfect quote unquote FBA candidate, he would be basically a lame duck, because anything he ever got to do, like anything y'all think the president can just do with the stroke of a pen, would get challenged in court and he would lose. This is why I told y'all, you don't win by losing. You don't win by losing. Letting somebody like Trump win is a loss. And letting him win in 2016, when we knew at least 2 seats was going to come open on that Supreme Court, Trump got 3, even worse, was the stupidest thing ever. Shout out to everybody still in the building.
They understood that the whole talking point about, well, you can't support reparations on the basis of race, that's precisely why lineage-based reparations is the word. Now they're trying to say, well, you can't do it based on lineage either. Now, what this CFER group does is they recycle the old white right talking point of, well, we need a race-neutral solution. How do you have a race-neutral solution for a problem that is race-specific? You cannot remedy race or lineage-specific harms without lineage or race-specific policies.
Exactly, but they're going to sue and say that it's discriminatory, which is not, and they're going to win. That was the whole point. This is why you were never, ever, ever supposed to go against the Democrats. No matter how much you don't like them, no matter how much you think they did bad, they would have never put us in a position where Ed Blum could do this, what he's doing right now. Never. Never. Because now all you're doing is crying about how this lawsuit is unfair and it doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter because they got all the power. You gave the people who wanted to hurt us most the power over us. And now you're crying because they're exercising that power to hurt us.
When harm is done to a specific group of people based entirely on their race or lineage, you cannot make restitution to that group through race-neutral anything. The very idea is ridiculous and would be laughed out of any court that operated on the basis of law or justice. Apparently, Seifer would say that if someone gets ripped off by a Ponzi scheme, then everyone in the country has to receive some sort of payout if you take them to court. That would be their logic. And we never hear this race-neutral gibberish dragged out except when someone's proposing something to remedy harms done to Black people. Then all of a sudden, well, whatever it is, it needs to be race-neutral. It needs to be for everyone. In fact, there were and are large amounts of money specifically for Asian businesses, and a bunch of funds set up specifically to give money only to Asian businesses, and yet you never see Ed Blum and his pals suing those organizations.
Exactly. You know why? Because they're white supremacists. And white supremacy, like I stated earlier, is about destroying Black people. It's not about destroying anybody else. Yeah, they want to hold other people down. They don't want them to be as high as white people. But its main objective is about destroying Black people. It's not about holding other groups down like they hold Black people down. It's not even about uplifting white people. It's about destroying Black people. It was obvious to a duck that they was going to do this racist stuff and just go after Black people. It was obvious. And we told y'all this was going to happen, but y'all still kept pushing that vote the couch. Y'all still kept pushing y'all not scared. Y'all still kept pushing Trump wasn't going to hurt Black people. Y'all still kept pushing that the Democrats would do the same thing. Y'all still kept pushing that the white liberals is worse. Y'all still kept pushing it. Now you're crying about it. And you have no ability to stop this. Nobody does. Shout out to everybody in the building. Nobody does. Let me see something. Let me see the comment section. It's not, unfortunately, it's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to get more Supreme Court seats. It's not going to happen. The Supreme Court should be bigger than what it is anyway. Like 9 seats. Come on. It should be at least 13. It should be at least 13 especially because it's like, I think there's like 13 circuit districts, federal court districts. So it should be at least 13 Supreme Court seats, especially because the country started with 13 colonies. It just sounds nice. So it should be expanded to 13, but it most likely it's not. So do I think FBAs is in denial? Yes, the content providers are not in denial. They know better. They just grifting. That's what they do. But the FBA people, the followers, yeah, they're in denial. They in denial. They in denial. They are in denial because if you show a FBA person what I'm saying right now and how I'm breaking it down, they would still talk about it would have happened under the Democrats or I don't know what I'm talking about. Even though I'm clearly breaking it down that even their leader, one of their leaders, one of their thought leaders, Professor Black Truth is literally saying everything I'm saying right now. They would still be in denial. Like we could even look at the comment section after we finish with this video. Watch, it's going to be people in denial. It's going to be people in denial. And yes, one for each district. That would make sense. Because remember, the Supreme Court started with like 5 people. And then over time, as the districts expanded and the country got bigger, they just kept making the court bigger. So it makes no sense for it not to be 13. There's no constitutional amendment talking about it got to be 9. I don't even know why I stopped expanding after 9. But yeah. Exactly. They don't care about them. What name are we calling you tonight? We calling you timeout. Yeah, we ain't got time to troll. This is too much of an important issue right now because you coming in here trolling. It's not like you wasn't watching a video and you ain't see what we talking about. And did you address anything I said or is being said? No. So you got to go right now. Come back when you get a brain in your head. Take them 300 seconds to think about what you're doing. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Yes, they're gonna yell at Kamala. Watch. After more and more of them start covering issues like this, they're gonna go to Kamala's book tour and say, Kamala, what are you gonna do about them suing about reparations? Like there's anything she could do as the president. Like what can she do about people suing in court and is going to the court and it's going to the Supreme Court? What could she do? Only thing she could possibly do is try to pack the Supreme Court, which would never be allowed. It'll still be too many Republicans in office to do something like that. Not only that, too many Democrats wouldn't be on board with that. Salute. They are sheep, and now they're gonna get slaughtered. I know, but sometimes I'll be letting him rock because at least he's engaging with the content. But if you're gonna sit here and talk and not engage with the content, you gotta go. You gotta go. Dangerously stupid. Dangerously stupid. But yeah, let's finish this up.
And you don't see the conservative Asians of California for equal rights suing them either. That's because this is not about equal rights for them. This is about unequal race. This is about anti-Black bigots carrying out a lawfare campaign targeting only the policies or proposals that are seen as potentially helpful to Black people. The idea of ancestral-based reparations is what most mass compensatory measures are based on, from giving Red Indians tax-free casinos and other giveaways to Japanese Americans in Manzanar and the descendants of the Holocaust. Legally, lineage-based reparations is rock solid. It is on totally solid ground legally, but as we saw with how the courts illegally and arbitrarily denied compensation to the survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre, for these white supremacists and their white supremacist adjacent pals, this isn't about law. It's about maintaining white fiat. And there's a lot of people not classified as white who are trying to help do it. Because I'm sure you probably also read that a white Hispanic woman in California is suing the Pasadena Public Health Department because her white baby wasn't eligible to be in the Black Infant Health Program. White citizens who have the most births who the hospitals actually take care of and who are not targeted to be denied medical care or to be neglected by medical apartheid, people who are not kicked out of hospitals when they're going through labor, and yet these individuals who are allowed to deliver healthy babies because the hospitals make sure that they do, they go to court claiming they should be treated the same as people who are being systematically discriminated against. Now, you're probably wondering, who is it who's bankrolling or otherwise enabling these asinine nuisance suits? Well, there's one group in particular who's behind both Seifer's lawsuits.
Oh, yeah. Now he's about to talk about who's behind the lawsuits. You know what's so funny? They spend more time talking about people being Democratic shills and being paid by the Democrats to attack FBA than they spend time talking about racist white groups who finance lawsuits against Black people, against the Black community. Like, when the last time you ever heard Tariq talk about the people financing these type of lawsuits? Never. But he'll talk all day long about if you criticize him, you are obviously getting a check from the Democrats. I criticize Tariq all the day long. I never got a check from the Democrats. Not one. Not one check. Not one check. Not one check. Not one check.
And this white Hispanic woman, they call themselves the Pacific Legal Foundation. They're the ones who put up the attorneys for both this white Hispanic woman's suit and for Seifer's lawsuits too. In fact, in the news articles about their lawsuits, you even see quotes from the exact same attorney for the Pacific Legal Foundation, a guy named Andrew Quinio. You need to start to learn the names of these organizations who are behind these lawfare campaigns. The names of these white right-wing think tanks and foundations, these big donors putting together these manufactured lawsuits. Because when you merely pay attention, you immediately see the exact same names over and over and over and over again. You're not going to be seeing the white leftist media on MS Now or CNN or any of these white outlets.
Look at that. Again, he's shifting the blame to the white outlets. This is your work. This is not the white outlets' work. This is your work. This is affecting your community. Why is it their responsibility to talk about this? And they do talk about stuff like this. Not as much as we would like them to, but at the end of the day is over. They don't just cover our issues. We supposed to just cover our issues and push our issues to the forefront. Why are you talking about anybody else? Why are you not talking about Tariq Nasheed never covering this? Why are you not talking about Phil, the Advice Show, Reaction Show Phil not covering this? Why are you not talking about whatever his name is, the Black Authority, who might be you as well, not covering this? Why are y'all not talking about New Black Media not beating the drum on this? This what we seeing right now is over 10 years in the making, over a decade in the making. Where was y'all banging the drum about this for 10 years? Where was it? We wasn't. And now you crying about, like I said, what's going to happen. Now you crying about CNN, about why CNN ain't talking about it. Why MSNBC, MS Now, they call, why they ain't talking about it. Why should they talk about it? This ain't got nothing to do with them. This ain't hurting them. And on top of that, them talking about it is going to do what now? Y'all already gave the racists all the power. We can talk about this till we turn blue in the face. That ain't going to change the fact that this lawsuit is going to go to the Supreme Court and they're going to win, or the states or the governments, excuse me, the local states and the state government. I keep saying local state, whatever. Local and state governments. Let me calm down because I'm getting upset. Local and state governments are going to most likely capitulate before it even gets to the Supreme Court because they know they're going to lose. Just like I covered before with that fund for the black women. They just gave up because they knew they wasn't going to win. And it was like them fighting this case, that's just throwing good money after bad. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. This is what a lot of people are going to do. They're going to just capitulate. It's not even going to get to the Supreme Court because they know they're going to lose. So they're just going to say, might as well just save the money instead of fighting the lawsuit. That's what they're going to say. That's what they're going to say. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Yes, most of the content providers and leaders of FBA are zesty. Most of them. Or women beaters. Or something like, or like incels or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. That sums it up. Tariq, Marcel Dixon, the Black Authority, who may also be Professor Black Truth, T.S. Giselle. Who else? That other girl who's like, I think is bisexual. Tariq Nasheed, who probably DL. Yeah. This is treason. I've been calling these people traitors and said this is treason at the highest level. Let's see something. We got Willis Gotti in the building. Of course he finessed them. And he gonna wait till that property get up in value and they start trying to gentrify that area, and then he gonna sell it for millions and pocket all the money. Old church hustle, building fund hustle. Remember, Tariq tried to be a pimp pastor at one time. So he know they hustles. Total degenerate. What fund? I forgot what it's called. And the funny part is the FBA bozos was attacking it. I think I did a video about that too. They was attacking the fund. And they was like basically celebrating. Like I said, if they not zesty, they incels. Because they basically was co-signing Ed Blum attacking the fund because it was for black women. And they accused the black women of being gender warriors. And it's like, how are they gender warriors? How are they doing anything? Because they set up a fund for black women. It was a black woman who has a black business who partnered with other black women to help create black women businesses. Something that black men can do. Something that other organizations have done. Like, what was the big deal? That doesn't mean they gender warring. Like, if I set up a business fund to help black men and show black men how to create business, I'm not a gender warrior. I'm recognizing that I'm in a unique position to help black men specifically get some businesses off the ground. But yeah, I did that video too. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But yeah, let's get back to this. Let's get back to him blaming white liberals, and also I know he's coming. He's gonna try to blame black immigrants too.
Podcasters talking about this because they're quiet as it's kept on board with it. You need to make sure that you know who your enemy is. So that's how you know this stuff is not grassroots, it's astroturf. These are lawsuits that are being manufactured by wealthy white interests. These are a bunch of extremists who have decided that since they couldn't shove their policies down the nation's throat through the legislatures, they're instead trying to bypass it through the courts. That's what this is all about. Because just for the record, the Federalist Society has a large number of its members who are in Congress and who hold political offices throughout the country. It's not as if they don't have policymakers. But even so, with the enormous advantage that they were given, they still couldn't get any of their policies through the legislatures. They know that they've lost the culture. So the courts are their last ditch. That's why you see them betting everything on it. These lawsuits that you see, this doesn't represent some groundswell of popular support. It never has. What it represents is the same wealthy white interest, a handful of very wealthy individuals who prop up one or two individuals like Ed Blum, fund them to go ahead to throw together and manufacture and fabricate a lawsuit, usually with some of their staff members or family and friends. I've documented this for you. And then those lawsuits are put in front of a judge who those same wealthy people paid the politicians to put on the bench. And then they say, look, as you can see, the courts are clearly against this. Yeah, because America has a pay-to-play legal system. That's the reason why. These lawsuits are not a...
Exactly. So what sense did it make to put those people in a position of power? Remember, this is, no matter what you say, America's still a democracy. You get to vote. You get a say. Those people would not have been in power if people like you weren't encouraging black people and others, but specifically black people, to stay home and not vote. We would not be in this position right now if I didn't do that.
Manifestation of what the people want. What they are is a manifestation of what a handful of corrupt, racist, wealthy white people want. But both the Republicans and the Democrats have been supporting these lawfare campaigns. They certainly couldn't be successful if the Democrats were actually trying to fight against them. Groups like CFER and Ed Blum.
There you go. There we go. Blaming the Democrats, saying it couldn't be successful. The Democrats were trying to fight against them. How? You just explained that these people were put in a position of power, and then they pick judges, put those judges in positions of power, and then they create frivolous lawsuits that the judges that they put in a position of power agree with. So how can the Democrats fight against that? What can the Democrats do against a judge right now? What can the Democrats do against these judges right now? They actually can do. These judges that were legally put in a position of power, that are exercising their authority legally. What can the Democratic Party do right now? Especially the Democratic Party who is out of power. The Democrats don't control the Senate. They don't control the House. And if they do take it over in the midterms, which y'all going against the Democrats in the midterms for some reason, they're not going to have the supermajority. And who's to say that all Democrats even agree that that these judges should go? So they're not going to be able to do anything. Stop making it seem like the Democrats are just sitting on their hands and they can do something if they wanted to. They can't do anything. You gave these racists all the power, and there it goes. There it goes. There's nothing that can be done right now. There's nothing that can be done. Wait, we got another troll in the building? Yeah, we're not letting you troll right now. This is too important. Voted for them. Well, that wasn't enough. And the FBA leaders told them not to. So put you on timeout because we talking about something serious. You're not letting that trolling ain't going on right now. You out with that. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Let's keep it going. Let's listen to him blame the Democrats.
Were created by rich white racists to push a bigoted legal double standard, one that is meant to deny only black people what we are owed, and also to make sure that black people are ignored by the law. That's meant to give a wink and a nod to it. That's the purpose that they serve. And they know exactly what it is that they're doing. They're all about a racial double standard, and that it has to be a blatant one because they are the ones who need it. White power handed these people every crumb of their daily bread, and in a country with a level playing field, they would shrivel up and blow away. White power thoroughly controls the policy landscape right now. So they have to take...
Okay, who gave them the power right now? And yes, like you about to say, they control it right now, and they're using the power that they have right now to get their agenda through.
this opportunity to set up sock puppets to pretend like they're fighting when in reality it's just political theater, and they know exactly what they want the outcome to be from the very beginning. The city of San Francisco and these racists at this so-called Californians for Equal Rights are not opponents to each other. They're actually working hand in hand. The city of San Francisco announces that they're setting up a reparations fund, but then they don't put any funds in it. And next, these guys come along and sue the very idea of reparations, but specifically the principle of it. They can't sue on the basis that they have somehow been deprived of their tax dollars wrongly, because the city admitted they haven't used any taxpayer dollars to do anything. This is all just something that exists solely on paper. And the next predictable step is that this phony baloney lawsuit will be put in front of a judge, usually a Federalist Society whore, who is going to rubber stamp it. And that way they can claim, see, reparations have been deemed illegal by the courts without ever having paid a single penny. And it's not like this is the first time something like this has happened in California. They are very sophisticated when it comes to carrying out anti-Black racism in that state, especially when it comes to doing these bait and switch maneuvers on reparations. Remember Bruce's Beach? Gavin Newsom himself was out in front of the cameras lying through his fake veneers that they were righting a historic wrong by restoring Bruce's Beach back to the original heirs. But as the Black media told you, this was just a thin ploy to manufacture some quickie headlines for themselves, because both state and local restrictions in California made it where, although the land was valuable, it was also illegal to actually develop it, even though that's exactly what the white residents around them had already been allowed to do with their property in the past.
Okay, now again, like I said, he's just running around attacking the Democrats. Now he's making it seem like it's the Democrats' fault. Like somehow the Democrats work with the Republicans to do this. Like the Democrats set Black people up for failure. The Democrats did a reparations fund, did one, because mind you, he's talking about one particular reparations fund, which was done the way it was done because people were afraid of people like Ed Blum suing them. He's not talking about what was going on in Evanston, which is currently being sued by Ed Blum, or that case with the Black women. I got to find that video that I did. I got to find the video on that. But yeah, he's not talking about none of that. He's talking about this. But yeah, let's keep going.
Knew from the very beginning that the only thing the heirs of Bruce's Beach could do with that land would be to immediately sell it, which is exactly what they did. And that was the entire plan from the very beginning. California understands itself as being the front line in the war on reparations, as we saw with the so-called Black Assembly Caucus, who openly mocked their own Black constituents as they banded together with Gavin Newsom to block a Freedmen's Bureau at the...
That wasn't real reparations. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Now you blaming the Democrats. That wasn't real reparations. That was a grift. That was a Freedmen's Bureau, where they was going to hire all those freedmen bozos to sit around, all those bozos and freedmen and nasty to sit around and get a paycheck from California, which would have started at like $250,000 a year, if not higher. Sit around, get a paycheck to research reparations. Remember the same thing that they claimed that Cobra and all of them was trying to do? That's what they was trying to do. Create a government bureau, a new government agency, where they would just sit around all day researching, quote unquote, researching reparations while receiving a paycheck. So of course they vetoed that, which they of course they voted against that, which they should have. That's a trick bag. They didn't vote against no money going to Black people. They voted against you grifters getting a paycheck, getting a bag.
State level. Don't kid yourself. The same white liberals who claim to be so colorblind and non-racist are the first ones who want lineage-based reparations to be stopped. Groups like CFER are doing their dirty work.
See, again, so all this stuff we seeing going on is really the Democrats and the groups like CFER, who is being funded by the Republicans, by Republican donors, are just doing the dirty work of the Democrats. This is really just the Democrats. So according to him, if we really want to get to the nitty-gritty of this situation and really get to the root of it and solve it, we got to attack the Democrats, not the Republicans actually doing the harm, but the Democrats, because you see the Democrats secretly put all this into motion, and the Republicans are just doing their dirty work. They're just the puppets of the Democrats. They're just the hitmen of the Democrats. The Democrats are the real problem. Who could have saw this coming?
White supremacy has fed a lot of bottom feeders over the decades, and its recipients know it. They stand to lose a lot when we talk about leveling the playing field. They know their position was handed to them. They sure as hell could never have earned it. And now they're willing to do anything to keep it. There's no honor among thieves, but that's not to say that there's no cooperation. What we're seeing from the CIFER group just goes to show you that there's a whole lot of people who are not classified as white who will do anything to maintain white supremacy and anti-black racism. And by the way, we saw this kind of uniformity with the college admission scandals. Who was it who was paying people big money? And who was it who was cheating on an industrial scale to get into these schools fraudulently? It was almost entirely white and Asian students and their families who were responsible for those scandals. And these are the same people like CIFER who we see using the word merit in their online propaganda. Well, the CIFERs and the Ed Blums, they don't believe in merit. Never have. They use that word as a punchline. The goal is, they hope, to be part of the system of goodies, giveaways, and most of all, guarantees that are given to the dominant society. These people are so opposed to anything that is race-specific, and yet, I wonder, did Frank Zhu and his pals at CIFER sue when Congress passed a hate crime law specifically for Asians? How?
We already been through this. Of course they didn't sue, because again, this is the anti-black movement. Like, all this hypocrisy talk ain't changing nobody. It's blatantly obvious to a duck that they're hypocrites. That ain't changing nothing. Putting you, I don't know how your timeout got it off that fast, but next time I'm probably gonna block you. White Democrats and Republicans work together. See, this is what I'm talking about. Somebody who said about FBA being willfully ignorant. There you go, right there. He's watching this dude talk about how the Republicans are doing this, but somehow it's really the Democrats' fault. It's really the Democrats' fault, because it's either they working together or the Democrats are the puppet masters. Shout out to McNasty in the building, who's also a member of the channel. You can get your own channel memberships, family. Also, make sure, like I said, if you can, try to get the channel memberships through the computer and not your phone, because for some reason they charge extra money if you do it on the phone. And I don't get none of that extra money. And it's not a little bit neither. It's dollars. They're adding dollars to the memberships. Shout out to everybody in the building. Oh, you said enable dark mode? I don't even know how to do that. If I did, I'll try to figure it out. But I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, because it's kind of hurting my eyes too. But I don't know how to. Let me see if I could do that right now. Put this shit on dark mode. Dark. Shout out to everybody in the building.
How about COVID money for Asian businesses? This was actual racial preference, not the phony made-up lies that these guys traffic in. They don't want equal rights. They want racial privilege for white supremacy and, in their case, white supremacist adjacents. Obviously, this group is not about stopping discrimination. They are the defenders of discrimination. They're about attacking anything with the word black in it. This is a clumsy right-wing front for lodging racist lawsuits aimed at black citizens. They create the conditions that harm black people's opportunities, that harm black people's access to the money that Asian immigrants are given right off the boat, and even black people's lives. And then when there's pressure to put measures in place to address these harms, they come in and file some nuisance suit against it. But understand, the white left, the Democrats, they want these lawsuits to happen because they were never serious about change in the first place. Even with Hakeem Jeffries as...
Exactly. They want this to happen. The Democrats somehow wanted this to happen, even though they didn't do it themselves and they could have did it. They wanted this to happen. They wanted this to happen. It was the Democrats all along, family. It was the Democrats all along. Matter of fact, I think I did do a video on this. Yeah. It was the Democrats all along, family. It was the Democrats all along. Who could have guessed it was the Democrats all along? Shout out to everybody in the building, but let him keep going.
The alleged House Minority Leader, he's not laying out how these attacks on leveling the racial playing field have to be stopped, or how...
First of all, again, like you said, the minority, which means they are out of power. Two, Hakeem Jeffries is, again, he has to think about a bunch of things. He probably doesn't even know this is even happening. And even if he did, how can he stop it? This is going through the court. He's in Congress. How could him even talking about this stop that? How?
Democrats have to make stopping these lawfare campaigns the forefront of their political platform. And Chuck Schumer in the Senate, he's not doing anything or
also a minority leader. And why would they do that? Remember, the Democratic Party is a big tent party. Black people are a major part of it, but they're not the only part of it. Why would they sit? They can't do that. Why would they sit around all day just trying to put all their political capital and trying to stop a lawsuit that they can't stop? That's bad politics. That's bad politics. If the Democrats did that, I'm a Democrat and I'll be looking at them like they were stupid. That's bad politics. You can't stop this. This has nothing to do with you. This is going through the courts. You can yell and hoot and holler till you turn blue in the face. That's not going to stop this. It's going through the courts.
saying anything either. In fact, not one Democrat who has any sort of visibility or prominence is saying a peep about this. They talk about the racist policies from Trump, but they don't talk about how they're going to be restoring or reinforcing any of these policies or any of these programs that have been attacked or knocked down. They don't talk about how there must be a Democratic hyper-aggressive pushback through policy and how breaking the backs of these right-wing activists on the bench must be the Democrats' top priority. The reforms of the next—
How are they going to do that? See, he's saying what the Democrats should do, but he's not saying how they should do it because they can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it.
1960s were admittedly modest. They had a minor impact on the racism that we face, but what went unsaid is that potentially it could have led to changes down the road if a group of Black people emerged who—
So the civil rights changes were modest. Those civil rights changes put us in the position we are now. We are the most educated, most privileged group of Black people who have ever existed in this country. We got more money than every other group combined. We got more education, more opportunity, more privileges, more rights than every other group of Black people who ever came before us combined. I would say that was more than modest.
were on code. That's the reason why, since at least the 1980s, you had the white right constantly saying, we only have a short window to try to undo these policies. We got only a short window to do something.
Yes, they had a short window, and y'all extended the window by helping Trump win. Y'all extended it. Y'all did this. Y'all did this. Everybody who was pushing Trump, y'all did this. Y'all did this. Matter of fact, I think this is the video right now. I'm going to go to this video right now. I think this is it. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Let me make sure the audio is still good. Yeah, this is the video. What I was talking about, I think this is one of the videos. This is all I could find. When somebody asked about the fund that I was talking about, it was called the Fearless Fund. As you can read from the title, Fearless Fund drops grant program for Black women business owners in lawsuit settlement. They knew they was gonna lose. They knew they couldn't win, so they just dropped it because it would be a waste of time to keep paying for lawyers and stuff, fighting the case just for it to go to the Supreme Court and for them to lose. Let's watch some of this. Know who this is. Look at this, family. Sad day. The Fearless Fund had to drop their grant program and settle the lawsuit. And they had to settle the lawsuit for the reason why I said that they would need to. And they can't let this go to the Supreme Court because it would set a precedent that would affect the entire country. By them settling now, it only affects them. And I want to show you how that I was right. Exactly. That's another part I forgot to mention. A lot of these cases are going to have to be settled before they even get to the Supreme Court, because if they allow them to get to the Supreme Court or allow them to go to court, it will establish a ruling that will affect the whole country. So it's better to just let them win now, and then hopefully in 40 years we could change the Supreme Court. So if they try this again, it'll be a different type of Supreme Court and we could fight them. So it's better to just give up now. See, that's another thing. If they was to fight this, they would put themselves in an even worse situation because a Supreme Court ruling would create law, would make it illegal. That would be the law of the land. You do know these court cases create law. They create law. This is a statement. By strategically avoiding a Supreme Court ruling that could have eliminated race-based funding, we protected vital opportunities for the entire Black and brown community. Crumps. Yes, like I said, they literally had to give up. We're going to see this happening more frequently, where you're going to have people attacking Black institutions with frivolous lawsuits like this, and they're going to have to give up because they don't want it to go to the Supreme Court to create law. And what you're going to have these bozos saying is like, oh, y'all gave up for no reason. Y'all not even trying to fight. See, this is what we talking about, family. This was all a game. They working together. Said in the statement, because Benjamin Crump was her lawyer. They had to end this case when they did, because if they kept pushing it, it would have went to the Supreme Court, and they knew they was going to lose. And it wasn't just going to be them who lost. It was going to be Black people who lost, because it would have set a precedent that would basically and allow the Supreme Court to basically say not only is fearless race grant programs wrong and can't do it, all such quote unquote DEI projects and all this other nonsense that they keep. I don't even know. Like this is just too disappointment. Yeah, I gotta get off this. That shit too disappointing. Like, come on, man. Come on. We didn't have all this blood, man. 160 years worth of progress, fight, and struggle up in smoke. And these bozos is talking about the Democrats. Took us 100 years to get the civil rights legislation. And for the last 60 years, we've been fighting to expand it and defend it. Just for it to go up in smoke like this. Ain't talking about a damn Democrat.
Something. Because they correctly interpreted that sooner or later some Black people who were serious were going to come along, and these bootlicks would be pushed aside, and these new Black people would use those policies that were in place left dormant to actually make the system do things it wasn't designed to do, starting with produce justice. It's like having a wrench that somebody bought and then some incompetent mechanic let it sit around and let it get a whole lot of dust and rust on it and forget about using the thing for what it's actually meant to do. Instead, they decide that they're going to use it to make peanut butter sandwiches or something. But then one day a new mechanic comes along and he sprays some WD-40 on it. And even though the wrench is not as strong as it used to be, in the right hands, he can make it still fix some things. See, that's the scenario that the white right understood could happen. This was always...
So if they understood that scenario could happen, why did you put them in a position of power to stop that from happening? See, that's the part y'all not addressing. Why did y'all put them in a position of power to stop that from happening? Let's say that again. Why did y'all put them in a position of power to stop that from happening? You said it's a possibility that could happen. All right, granted. Why did y'all put them in a position of power to stop that from happening? Inquiring minds want to know. I got to put you in like, I got to speed you up because I'm about to get off this because it's like, this is just too much.
The fear that white power had that the policies of the 1960s, while not necessarily meant to be effective, could be made to be effective on some level or another. It was not necessarily the laws at the time that they were terrified of, but of what could come next. Remember, things like the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, these were modest measures at best. And in many cases, some of the same segregationists who opposed civil rights were eventually persuaded to vote for these measures. Not all of them, only a few, but it proves that these measures weren't as threatening to white power as the white media would lead you to want to believe.
They were. You're lying. You're lying. That's the reason why white power is in a position right now that it is in it, where they was desperate for a Trump to come along. Because if they didn't get a Trump, they knew they was finished. That's the reason why throughout the whole 2010s, all you had these right-wing spaces. They wasn't talking about elections. They was talking about civil war, Second American Revolution. That's what they kept talking about because they realized that if some miracle didn't happen, the only way they was ever going to be able to take back power was to get violent. That's the only way. If Trump didn't get elected in 2016, the only way they would have been able to take back power in this country was to get violent. That's why they all kept talking about that. That's why you had all these militias, all this gun buying, all this other stuff that was happening in the 2010s. All this civil war, Second American Revolution. We got to water the tree of liberty with blood and tyrants and patriots alike. All that blood and gut stuff they was talking was because they felt like they couldn't win any more voting. And the reason they was in that position is because of the civil rights legislation of the 60s. It wasn't modest. You're a bozo.
The racists could, to an extent, stomach the reforms of the 60s because they knew it wasn't going to be enough to bring them down. But what they ultimately feared was what policies could come next. That's why on every January 15th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, I make sure to play that interview where he says that the civil rights reforms up until that point were merely the opening salvo of his war on white supremacy, that he planned the next phase that would be about the money, and that he recognized that this was where they were getting their stiffest opposition from white society. Dr. King knew that the slate of policies he was advocating for next would make his opposition to Vietnam look tame by comparison. And the white supremacists knew it too. Shortly after that interview, he was assassinated. The struggle is not just against the enemy, though. The struggle is also to get black people on code and keep them on code. In order to do this long term, you require institutions, and institutions require resources. This is what the enemy is fighting against. Anti-black racism is global. Everyone has benefited from it. So they're determined to stop anything that promotes black empowerment because they're as helplessly dependent on white supremacy as the white supremacists. Some of the worst anti-black racists aren't even classified as white. This is how white supremacy uses buffer groups to do its dirty work. This is a political offensive taking place through the courts. They couldn't possibly try these stunts through the legislature because they would fail. The good news is that the enemy has put together a strategy with a single point of failure. But the bad news is that both political parties are determined to protect that single point to the death. And you have a lot of non-black people who are helping them do it.
They didn't put how does it have a single point of failure? Like, explain that. What do you mean a single point of failure? Like, there's never going to be a scenario where you're going to be able to disbar judges just for ruling in a way you don't like. That's something that he was promoting to his followers too, who are brain dead and stupid, that if the Democrats really wanted to stop this, all they got to do is get the judges out of here. Like, that's a simple process. Like, that's easy. Like, that's something that's even doable. Like, oh, I'm just going to remove every judge that I don't like. Like, anybody would even go along with that.
This is the reason why the black fill-in-the-blank alliances were always damned to failure. And this is why you should be on the lookout for people from outside the community who want to see if they can come into black enclaves and get us to vote for them. You notice that times like...
No. I'm talking about in the 2010s. FBA didn't exist back then. I'm talking about I'm talking about like the 2010s when Obama was president. If you go listen to Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, and all those other people back then, Rush Limbaugh, and a lot of other like YouTubers and stuff, they was all talking about this civil war, possible civil war. They trying to, we might have to take the country back, blah, 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 blah. They was talking like that because they felt like they couldn't win. Remember, Obama won the presidency. For the first time ever, we had somebody become the president of the United States of America in a two-person race who didn't get the majority of the white vote. Not only didn't get the majority of the white vote, more white people voted against Barack Obama than any other president. Like, let me see. How do I explain this? Mitt Romney, John McCain, when he ran against Barack Obama, more white people voted for John McCain than any other presidential candidate in American history. And he still lost. Got blown out. The only person who got more white votes than John McCain was Mitt Romney in the second time. And he lost too. That's why they basically was under the understanding that we can't win with politics. It's over. We have maxed out the racist white vote, and we can no longer win with it. We can't win with it no more. We can't win with it no more. That's good. Yeah, and Trump gave him a congressional medal of whatever. I don't know. Disgusting. But shout out to everybody still in the building. I'm about to let this bozo talk like 30 more seconds and we off this.
The DNC shows go quiet because they would have to tell the DNC to speak up about this and to put pressure on lawmakers, especially in the AAPI community, to oppose groups like this, but they don't because they...
What is putting pressure on these groups going to do? You think simply talking down on them going to make them stop? You think shaming them is going to make them stop? Like that's basically his strategy. Democrats talk about it and tell the Asian caucus, to the Asian American Pacific Islander Congressional Caucus, to sit around and cry about it. How is that going to stop any of this?
Actually agree with what the white right and its sock puppets are doing. In the 1960s, the civil rights activists spoke loudly enough and long enough that they came to dominate the conversation eventually, or at least they had a voice loud enough to be heard. White society and its politicians tried screaming and yelling against racial justice, but as Lee Atwater pointed out, that backfired. White power recognized it wouldn't work. This is
different because this is a lawsuit. This is not legislative. This is not the president. This is not Congress. This is lawsuits going through the court. No amount of hooting and hollering and screaming is going to change that. Show me one time in American history where the courts were where court decisions were reversed or court judges were disbarred for going against people hooting and hollering and screaming. Never happened. Never happened. We got to get off this because this guy's talking too much fantasy. Matter of fact, 30 more seconds.
Why I keep reminding you of Antonin Scalia's infamous ruling in Shelby v. Holder, where he admitted in open court that the lawmakers were scared of the voters punishing them if they attempted to repeal the Voting Rights Act. So the right-wingers on the Supreme Court had to do it themselves. He openly...
Exactly. That's the point. The lawmakers couldn't do it. But guess who could? The judges. That's why they went through the judges. Now, how do you stop the judges? How do you stop the judges? By crying about the legislator? You can't. You can't. You can't. Like, what part of that don't I know it's people in this comment section thinking that he's really going in and he's teaching. I know it. How do you stop the judges? All right, people hooting and hollering and complaining can stop people in Congress. We know that. Bet. But how does hooting and hollering stop the judges? It can't. That's why they decided to go through the judges.
He admitted he was doing it to protect certain politicians from suffering the wrath of the voters. He admitted to what the Constitution calls political high-handedness. But what needs to be remembered is that the Democrats are on board with this too. Look at what Kamala Harris said.
See, again, the Democrats are on board with this too. He's literally quoting Justice Anthony Scalia, who's dead now, saying that they are doing this for racists, basically for in plain English. Let me make it clear in plain English that they are doing the dirty work. They are engaging in judicial activism to railroad black people for the Republican Party. What does that have to do with the Democrats?
Rahm Emanuel said, what Bernie Sanders said, what Joe Biden said. The Democrats' position dovetails perfectly with the Ed Blums and others. They pretend that they wish it wasn't so. This is just a problem of political feasibility, you see.
Again, we off this. Somehow it's the Democrats' fault. Let's look at these comments. Giving PBT his flowers. You giving him his flowers for what? We need to sue this organization for harassment. Look, these people really think they could sue these organizations. You're going to sue them and go to court? The same court that they suing you in, that they know they're going to win because they got the judges? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Yeah, we got to get off this. This is too depressing. Too depressing. I got to go. I got to get off this. Shout out to everybody still in the building. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock. That was agonizing. Yes, his comment section is even dumber than him because you got to be dumber than him to fall for that. Like, that's the thing. Like, if he had people who were smarter than him, it was his following, he would have never had a following. Anybody with two brain cells to rub together can see that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Anybody with two brain cells to rub together can see that he's obviously wrong. So let me get this straight. Y'all helped Trump get into office. Trump now in office. He put judges in place. The judges he put in place are now a bunch of people who will rule. I mean, he put judges in places. Let's get that. Because again, it's confusing because they saying so much stupidness. But let's break it down. Let me start over. Let me calm down. Y'all said let Trump win. Trump wins. Trump, as the president, picked judges. Trump picks a bunch of racist judges. Now we got a bunch of racist lawsuits against black people that people know they're going to win because the racist judges are going to do racist stuff and implement racist rulings. And somehow, some way, it's the Democrats' fault for not stepping in and stopping the judges, even though they have no power to step in and stop the judges. And those judges wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for people like you pushing for black people not to vote so Trump could win. How does that make sense? How? Completely dumb. But yeah, let's finish up tonight. Yeah, let's finish this up. Because again, like, this is ridiculous. This is Tariq arguing against Al Sharpton. Nonsense. But we're gonna have to go through this. Shout out to everybody in the building rocking with me. I have not watched this video because, again, like I said, I can't be watching these videos by myself. As a matter of fact, I can't afford to watch them twice. Like, my brain is already about to bust watching it once. I like watching it twice. No, can't do it.
They're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country July 4th. But that's not our celebration. We were slaves then. And they celebrate signing the Declaration of Independence 1776. We were not even emancipated until 1863. So I don't know what everybody getting ready for a celebration. You know, that it seems crazy for me to have on the birthday hat at your birthday party. That ain't my party. In fact, I'm thinking Saturday when I do my address to the convention, they're calling for something on July 4th, like Frederick Douglass did. Why should we be celebrating that? We may need to do our own rally in Philly or somewhere that day, because that's not our background.
Let's get Sister Cece in here.
Exactly. He teaching. We should be following in the footsteps of Frederick Douglass. Was Frederick Douglass celebrating July 4th? To celebrate the birthday of the nation? No, he wasn't. And I want to say this too. As a kid growing up, I used to think that July 4th and Independence Day was two different holidays. I used to think Independence Day was white people's holiday to celebrate the birth of the nation, and July 4th was just black people day to just celebrate family and barbecue. I used to think they was two separate and distinct holidays in my mind as a kid. And now as an adult, I still treat them as two separate and distinct holidays, because I never remember going to no July 4th celebration with the family and we was talking about Happy Birthday America. And that's how it should stay. Now let's watch Tariq attack Al Sharpton for saying we should follow in the steps of Frederick Douglass and not celebrate the birthday of America. We should do our own thing, which I would say black people have always been doing. Like I said with my family. But let's go.
She's raising her hand. Oh, well, yeah, Cece. Let's get Sister Cece in here.
Hey, Tariq. Hey, family.
Hey, beloved, how are you?
I'm okay. I love all of y'all, everybody up in here. I just had a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you know that the 250th year of independence of America is coming up.
Yes.
And how do you feel about that? Because now y'all know I seen Al Sharpton's old slick head self up on one of them podcasts or whatever he doing, talking about this is not our celebration.
Right.
And this, that, and the third. So I'm like, I'm so sick of that narrative, and it just feels old and tired.
So Frederick Douglass narrative about this is not our celebration because this has nothing to do with us. We was literally slaves while they were celebrating the independence of the nation. That's an old tired narrative. So why are you talking about racism then? Why are you talking about reparations then? Because if talking about how we were slaves and how this country wasn't founded for us is an old tired narrative, why even talk about reparations? Why talk about reparations? That's in the same boat. Shout out to all the new people in the video, in the building. Make sure you hitting this link. Hit that link. Support the channel by hitting that link.
And I feel like I want to celebrate. What you think?
We should. This is our, thank you, sis. Yeah, this is our country, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're going to celebrate it because, we dealt with oppression from the white supremacists, but we built the culture of this country. Let's be very clear. Yeah, Sharpton, I saw.
Can we just celebrate ourselves without celebrating the country? See, this is the game that these FBA bozos created, this false dichotomy, which they got from white people, that somehow if you're going to celebrate black greatness in America, you have to celebrate America too. You can't separate the two, which is cap. You can celebrate what black people have accomplished in this nation through it all without celebrating the nation itself. That's a white narrative. That's a racist white narrative. And FBA is pushing it right now, that somehow the only way we can celebrate what we have done in this country is to celebrate the country as a whole. We can't celebrate Frederick Douglass without celebrating George Washington. We can't celebrate Martin Luther King without celebrating, what's his name? Andrew Jackson. We can't celebrate Jesse Owens going to Berlin and winning those gold medals without celebrating the Indian Removal Act. We can't celebrate the Harlem Hellfighters without celebrating the Banana Wars. Like, if we're going to celebrate one, we got to celebrate the other. That's nonsense. That's cap. None of that. We don't have to do that.
I saw that where Sharpton was up there talking about, what are we going to celebrate? We're going to have a they talking about having some kind of boycott or some kind of separate march against the anniversary of the country. Some bullshit. That's a con game. Listen, this is our country, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be very, very clear. The culture of this country, the music.
Again, why do you have to celebrate George Washington to celebrate the blues? Look what he's saying. He's saying we this is our country. We have to celebrate it because of great things black people have done in this country. Why do we have to do both? We can always not do both. I grew up black my whole life in this country. I seen black people celebrating black greatness without having to celebrate Ronald Reagan. We can celebrate the jazz without celebrating lynchings. Like, we can celebrate, like we don't have to do both. We don't have to do both. Like, you creating a false dichotomy where one can't be celebrated without celebrating the other. Talking about this is our country. Since when? Since when? This is more FBA babble. Somebody said that in the comment section. This is FBA babble. When has this been our country? When has this been our country? It's our country, but you got to beg the white man for reparations for what they did to us in this country. But it's our country. Like, come on now. Like, come on. Shout out to everybody in the building.
Music, the fashion, the aesthetics, the civil rights victories, that comes from us. We're not going to abandon that. That is us.
Look at the straw man. All Sharpton never said we got to abandon that. He said we not celebrating the birth of the nation. We're going to follow in the footsteps of Frederick Douglass and hold our own event. And somebody just said in the comment, yeah, RBG for the win. Isn't that the reason we have Juneteenth? Like, so if we're going to celebrate the 4th of July as flag-waving Americans, what is the point of having Juneteenth? If this is our country and we just won with the nation, what is the point of having Juneteenth? What is the point of Juneteenth? Shouldn't we not celebrate Juneteenth because that's division? If this is our country and we are one with our former slave master and their descendants, why are we celebrating Juneteenth as some type of freedom? Why shouldn't we just celebrate the 4th of July as the birth of the nation? Why? And if that's the case, why can't white people celebrate Juneteenth too? Why are you complaining about anybody else celebrating Juneteenth? If we won and this is our nation and Juneteenth is a holiday, why complain about Juneteenth, about anybody celebrating Juneteenth? Why? Nonsense.
This is our damn country. Some of the 14th Amendment, 13th Amendment. Man, we didn't help put laws together.
So those laws were put together to go against what the founding fathers put down. That's why that was put down like that. A lot of people used to refer to the Civil War as the second founding of the nation, the second American Revolution, the unfinished business of the first American Revolution. Like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense for us to celebrate that and also celebrate this.
We helped shape this country as foundational Black Americans. Let's get this shit straight. We came up with many of the innovations. We came up with many of the medical advancements. We came up with the entertainment advancements. We came up with the musical and the sports advancements. That this is ours. We were doing some of the early architecture in this country. We were clearing the brush. We were making places like New York habitable and all of these other places. We would clear the brush and clear the forest and make this land livable. We're not giving that up. Yeah, that's us. That is us. You understand? Don't.
Exactly. Tariq is lying to his audience. First of all, they was burning the American flag in one of the hitting colors. Now he a flag waving American. And now if we go against the founding fathers and the American flag, we going against everything Black people ever did in this country. And somebody said in the chat room, yes, Tariq is speaking a whole lot of French now. We. Who is we, nigga? Who is we? We're not celebrating the slave owner George Washington. Do y'all know that George Washington was a billionaire? That's how much money he made from being a slave owner. He was a billionaire. He was the first president to be a billionaire. Not Trump, George Washington. That's how rich he was. He's one of the biggest slave owners in American history. He was one of the biggest slave owners in chattel slavery history. And one of the richest. A billionaire. A literal billionaire. And we supposed to be celebrating him? Get out of here. But we supposed to be crying about people celebrating Juneteenth in Ghana and other places? Like, come on now. Shout out to Hood Mistress Reloaded in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. President Jafar in the building. Let me see. I shouted you out in the beginning. Yeah, slave teeth. Yeah, exactly. They make that's a lie. Wooden teeth was a lie that they created so he wouldn't look that bad. They know what they was doing. Make sure y'all hitting that link.
These people try to flip this thing saying, okay, because we were dealing with oppressive white supremacy, we don't have a claim to what we actually built. Because
that's a lie. Nobody said that. He said celebrate in the founding of the nation. He never said we don't have a claim to anything we built. That's a lie. You literally made that up. You literally played the clip, and the girl who even called in said that. Said, oh, he's talking about not celebrating the birth of the nation. They made it clear what they was talking about. This guy's a weirdo. He's a liar. And you got grown adults listening to this bozo say this.
That's like a tether argument. The tethers try to
see, here we go, attacking the Black immigrants. So if you believe we should celebrate the 4th of July the same way Frederick Douglass celebrated it, you a tether. If you want to celebrate the 4th of July the way Frederick Douglass celebrated it, if you want to celebrate the 4th of July like Black people have always celebrated as just a day to get together and barbecue with family, you are a tether. You're making a tether argument. If you don't want to celebrate the independence of America, running around waving the American flag and saying happy birthday, America, shout out to George Washington, you are a tether. See, that's how it goes. You a tether.
I say, well, y'all ain't foundational because y'all were not looked at as equal when the country was founded.
Look, he can't even say it. He can't even say he can't even make the argument correctly because he knows it's going to be too harsh. The argument is, how can you be foundational to a country you was enslaved in? How could you be foundational to a country and be an equal with the founding fathers when the founding fathers didn't see you as an equal? They made you 3/4 of a person in the Constitution. So how can you be foundational on their level. Like, make the argument correctly, Tariq. Talking about, oh, how could you be foundational when you wasn't treated equal? Like we was more than not treated equal. Women weren't treated equal. Indentured servants weren't treated equal. We was a little bit more than not treated equal. Poor white people wasn't treated equal. But I think we was dealing with a little bit more than that.
We don't view ourselves through the eyes of the white supremacists. We're not looking for their approval. No matter what they or how they view us, our position was still pivotal. We were still foundational. That's either true or it's not damn true. Damn what they wanted to view us as. They viewed us as foundational because they needed us. Let's be very clear. They didn't get this shit popping on their own, because when they tried, they failed. I keep pointing that out. We were pivotal to the building of this country. We are literally the foundation of it. Literally. Yeah? Come on. Who is this? Did I address? Oh, yeah, I talked about that already. I talked about our good brother Melrose.
Yeah. Bozo. Yes. What is the 4th of July to a Negro? What is it? What is it? I didn't even know that, President Jafar. I didn't know that. I know he had like family in the Caribbean. They all did. Because remember, most of the original slave owners in this land came from the Caribbean. Had family in the Caribbean. They moved here from the Caribbean to establish new plantations in the Americas. Ridiculous. Exactly. We was kings and queens 10 years ago. Now we got to take pride in starting on a plantation. Exactly, Naps. You correct. He made being a Sambo cool. He gave it some swag. Because again, if anybody would have made these same arguments that Tariq Nasheed is making now 10 years ago, which people were doing at the time, he would have called them every type of coon, sellout, buck dancing for the white man, traitor you could think of. Republican, black conservative, every name he could have came up with, he would have called them that. For somebody saying this too. Not even saying this, just saying that, hey, we should be proud of America. Something simple like that. Oh, we should be proud of our accomplishments in America.
Yeah, we are the core essence of this joint, man. Yeah, we're celebrating our inheritance. Yeah, we can celebrate. Yeah, we're celebrating a country that we made great. We made this country great. We are the moral fiber and the heartbeat of this country. We can celebrate that. We can celebrate that. Hell, even the flag, that was graceful.
Yes, we can celebrate our greatness in the country without celebrating the country. Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that. Shout out to everybody in the building.
Sewing the initial flag that we now use as the Stars and Stripes. Come on now. This is our joint. We're not guests here. This is why they love to try to push that African American thing on us. Using the term African American, that makes us damn de facto immigrants. That makes
so using the term African American make us de facto immigrants. How come they don't do that for nobody else? How? But it does it for us. If somebody say I'm Irish American, does that make them a de facto immigrant? Matter of fact, people don't even say the Irish American. They say I'm Irish. But that don't make them a de facto immigrant, but it makes us a de facto immigrant by saying African American, which is ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. This is a grown man saying this. This is a grown man saying this.
It's comparable to immigrants. That's why we reject those terms.
So Tariq Nasheed and his FBA claimants can reject the term African American, which is a legally recognized term, which all of them have filled out paperwork with that term and acknowledged themselves as African Americans. Because like I said, Go to any of these FBA bozos and say, hey, do you have a license? So yeah, you have a license, so you didn't click the African-American box? Oh, you was in school? You ain't clicked the African-American box? You've been to the hospital? What's your medical record say? African-American, right? Or does it say foundational Black American? What does it say? Which one? But African-American is not a legit term. But foundational Black American, a term that he trademarked and he owns, is a legit term that you can't put on a piece of paper. You write foundational Black American on a piece of paper, they sending that shit right back.
Yeah. Hell yeah, this is ours. Yeah. Come on now. All right, let's get, who is this? We got another Nigerian here. Hello, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, dear?
I'm fine. How about you?
I am good. Are you in Nigeria or South Africa?
Oh, I'm Cameroon.
They just, I mean, they're not directly saying your name, but anytime they mention FBA, they're basically talking about you. And
I'm happy you acknowledge that. Anytime somebody say FBA, they talking about Tariq. Why? Because Tariq is the leader. That proves right there that FBA is a group. That nobody sees it as a lineage. Because if every time they say it, they talking about one man, that means they are a group. Just like when people say MAGA, they talking about Trump. I'm happy they said this. Let's see what's going on with this right here.
I've noticed that they've turned the heat on recently. Now that a brother got on Sharpton's platform and started speaking on FBA and how we're not scared of Trump, and I just noticed that
one of your bozos, Professor Black Truth, just did a whole lot of crying about Trump, but ultimately blamed the Democrats. But they not scared of Trump.
The Boule class is really putting their energy on you, and I'm like, damn, are you that mad at a lineage? How are you that angry that people are coming together and saying we're not?
If they was really that mad at a lineage, why are they only focusing on Tariq Nasheed? If it was really just a lineage and it was really just mad at a lineage, why are they focusing on Tariq Nasheed? Because it's not just a lineage. If Tariq Nasheed was to die today or tomorrow, this FBA shit would crumble. It would crumble. Just like any other of these weird cults we done had in the black community. Once the leader die or whatever happened, them shits crumble.
We're gonna delineate and talk about what we want to talk about. They're just trying to control the narrative. And I just wanted to throw that at you and see what your thoughts on that was.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, man, listen. Yeah, these people, these are Democrat shills and Democrat operatives. Their job is to keep us generic, to make us generic Africans so that we can be part of a minority coalition, so they can get.
You don't have to be a generic African to be a part of a minority coalition. You know if by you not even being African, you're still a part of a minority. You would still be a part of a minority coalition. You would still be able to be a part of that, right? Because you are a minority.
Those minority coalition numbers to get their political paymasters in office. So this whole thing,
the people who pay are not the ones who running for office. The people, like, you don't even know what you're talking about. The people who pay are not the people running for office.
Narrative that we shouldn't celebrate the anniversary of this country, that's another Democrat con game. Because
that's not a Democratic con game. The Democrats want black people to celebrate the birth of the nation. I never heard a white liberal saying black people shouldn't celebrate the birth of the nation. I never heard that. I never heard that.
Are the foundation of this country. We are going to celebrate a country that we built, because when we look at it from that perspective and say, hey, we built this country, that means we need the reparations from.
That doesn't mean that. If you're going to celebrate America and say this is our country and yes, some bad things happen, but we over that, why would you get reparations? Why would you get reparations? Again, that argument that you are making comes directly from white people who believe black people don't deserve reparations. That we're all Americans. Yeah, some bad things happened in the past, but we over it now and we all Americans. Let's move forward. That's the you don't deserve reparations argument. That's not the pro-reparations argument. That's the you don't deserve reparations argument. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hitting that link. Hit the like button and hit the link. Support the stream any way you can. Thank you.
Building it. See, and then we're going to look at the damn Democrats because they are the ones who owe, just like the rest of the country. You see, they want us to be generic Africans, and we're not. And we are going to celebrate the anniversary of this country because we're not outsiders. We're not guests in America as foundation of Black Americans. We are the foundation of the infrastructure, the foundation of the agriculture, the foundation of the economy that made this country possible. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The insurance companies were built off our backs. The banks were built off our backs. Wall Street was built off our backs. The trains and the railroads were built off our backs. All of it. Our blood is literally in the soil of this nation, ladies and gentlemen. Even the Revolutionary War, we got to understand it wasn't fought just by no white colonists. Black Americans, we fought in the Revolutionary War too, on both sides, and we secured the independence of this country. So they would not have won the Revolutionary War if it were not for the...
Oh, yeah. He's talking about people who fought in the American Revolutionary War, but you don't acknowledge Governor Westmore as FBA, even though he can literally show you proof that his family fought in the American Revolutionary War. Yeah, FBA is generic Americans. You're not even real Americans. You're a generic American. Bozo. Tariq is an idiot, and he knows that. He knows his audience is stupid because anybody with two brain cells to rub together can see that this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. So we supposed to celebrate a nation that enslaved us and built the whole nation off our back and never gave us nothing but they ass to kiss. Again, Frederick Douglass said what? What did Frederick Douglass say about the 4th of July? He said we shouldn't be, he wasn't celebrating it. Like, come on now. Disgusting.
Black soldiers, let's put that out there too. They would not have won the Civil War if it were not for the...
And also, he said about black soldiers fighting on both sides of the American Revolution, which is true. But if black soldiers fought on both sides, why does that make you foundational, make you like just as American as everybody else? How is that a flex? Like, yeah, we fought against the country being born.
Black soldiers. Let's be real. Abraham Lincoln said that. Lincoln said that. This ain't me talking. Lincoln said we would not have won this thing if it were not for the damn freedmen soldiers. Lincoln said that. This our shit, family. This is ours from top to bottom. We are the only group with a continuous 250-year stake on this land. Immigrant groups came later. That's a fact. We are the only group that has been here continuously from the country's birth until now. Most white people can't even say that because most of them are Ellis Islanders. You understand what I'm saying?
And yet and still, they're still more American than you. They still have more rights in America than you. And again, it doesn't matter if they're quote unquote Ellis Islanders. They're still white. That's why you have Trump and all of them talking about the Civil War and the founding fathers like their ancestors did it. Why? Because it's American white identity as of now is racial. So what are you saying? You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. Oh, they think FBA think that they the natives. Remember, they think they Aboriginal. They think they the natives. Yeah, matter of fact, we done listening to this bozo ramble. I'm gonna see if I can find the Frederick Douglass speech right now. Right now, we're gonna see if we can see what Frederick Douglass had to say. We ain't listening to this bozo no more. Let's see. Is this the speech?
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess their benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us. I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
Shout out to Frederick Douglass. Couldn't have put it better. Shout out to the big homie. Shout out to PJ the Dude for helping to support the channel monetarily. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Thank you for the $1.99. And yes, he's talking about it like it was summer camp. Like black people had a bad experience at a summer camp. That's how he's talking about it. Oh, you back in the building. See, that's what the timeouts is for. I put you on timeout because I said you was coming here trolling and you ain't have nothing to add. You adding something now. 4th of July. That's the funny part. I want to see how Tariq is going to square this when Professor Black Chew put out his 4th of July videos. Or the Black Authority put them out. So we don't do 4th of July no more. We doing 4th of July where we celebrate. I guess that's what it is now. I wouldn't be surprised either. But Tariq might not go that far. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Also, make sure you hitting this link. If you can't support the stream monetarily, you can support the stream by going to the pinned comment, hitting this link, and subscribing to that new channel. My channel is under attack. Help support the war effort. If you can't help support it with dollars, help support it this way. Also, I take donations, PayPal, Cash App, Super Thanks. I take it all. Thank you. A whole lot of ones with a whole lot of nuns. Make sure you hype in this video, doing everything you can to support it. Comments, because comments help support the video too. The more comments on the video, the more comments during a live stream, the more YouTube promotes it in the algorithm. So if you really want to help, make sure you commenting. If you're watching a video, even if you dropping a fire emoji like this, that's supporting the stream. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. And why is Tariq saying we need to celebrate the 4th of July now? I know you heard it. You ain't just get back here. You heard it. You heard what Tariq was saying. We need to celebrate the 4th of July. He said, damn what Frederick Douglass talking about. We the foundations of the nation. Are you going to say something to Tariq Nasheed about that? Thank you, Afro Networks, for the comment. And yeah, I will continue to keep trying to do my best to put out great, Yeah, it should be turned into a rap. It should be like the hook and rap songs. But anyway, I think we covered that enough. I want to end this video, not now, but like on a lighter note. I want to cover something real quick. This is something on a lighter note because I realized we got to start ending these streams on a lighter, positive note. Friend to the channel, Dreamerspro, did a video, and he basically, I haven't watched this video yet. Well, he's basically saying he was wrong about LeBron. Let's see what he got to say. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hitting that again, that pin comment. Here we go.
Another episode of the Dreamerspro Show. We'll cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. And we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So let's get into it, right? I know these LeBron fans have been looking for me. Where you at, son? Where you at? You was talking wild greasy. LeBron this, LeBron that. You a hater, bro. Right? So yesterday, going into that game, I guess I fell for the okie doke, man. I thought that the Houston Rockets were going to be able to put a beat down on the Lakers. I made fun of LeBron in game one. I said Luke Kennard carried his ass in game one. And I think I was right. Luke Kennard, I think, led all scorers in game one. And then LeBron fans, they make it worse, man. You heard people like saying, oh, LeBron, what we saw in game one was vintage, which was prime Chris Paul and prime Magic Johnson. I'm like, so 41-year-old LeBron James is a top 10 player of all time? Like, come on. But so they were doing that, right? So going into yesterday's game, it was a big storyline because Kevin Durant was supposed to play. We did a live where some doctor was kind of warning against him playing. But I said in that live that I thought Kevin Durant was going to play, and that is what he did. And in the first half of that game, he scored 20 points in the first half. He was hitting some shots. You know, they made a few runs with the Rockets. But going into the half, I had a feeling that the Lakers were going to win the game because it looked like the Rockets just couldn't really figure out the Lakers. The Lakers seemed like they had a better game plan than the Houston Rockets did in terms of what they wanted to execute offensively, especially defensively. They knew exactly how they were going to attack KD. And LeBron made it his business this time around to be much more offensively aggressive. He finished the game with 28 points on, he only shot 40% from the ball. He's 28 points still, 40% from the field, 40% from three, 71%. But then he did have 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. But beyond the box score, if you watch the game, you could tell that he was having a great night. Now, obviously, he didn't do that by himself. Marcus Smart came along for the ride. He had 25 big points and 5 big 3-point shots. Luke Kennard was Luke Kennard. He had 23 points. So LeBron was able to find a scoring punch with Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart, and then Rui Hachimura chipped in 13. But in terms of LeBron, man, I gotta give him his flowers. He put up a spectacular performance, and he shoved me the hell up. I couldn't even hate. And it's paining me to do this video, but I couldn't even hate. Now, I think what makes it hard for me to give LeBron his props is his fans, because his fans are just going to be so ridiculous in the comment. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, LeBron did his thing. Shout out to LeBron. You know, I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm not one of these people who love LeBron so much that I gotta celebrate people's death or wish harm on other people or attack people. But yeah, I am definitely a LeBron fan. I would love to see LeBron get another ring. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I would love to see the Lakers versus the Knicks right now. I would love to see it.
Man, these people.
Shout out to Dreamerspro for doing this video. I know it can be hard to give certain people their props because of they're fans, but you can't let that deter you from doing what you got to do. You got to be objective, even if So you got to give LeBron his props.
But
also shout out to RBG for the win for the super sticker for $199. Thank you for supporting this war effort. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ooh.
He had a hell of a game, and as a matter of fact, at the end of the game, he spoke to the media at ESPN, and he basically explained how the game went down. So what we want to do is going to play what LeBron said post game, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to his comments post game.
LeBron, a game of runs, but you guys controlled it for the majority. Coach Redick talked about playing with a sense of desperation. Is that what it took to get another win here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just as hard as we played in game one, we had to double that in game two. We understood, what they wanted to come in with, the desperation they was going to have, so we had to be even more desperate, and I thought we played a hell of a game.
The defensive effort against Kevin Durant, he had 1 point in that third quarter. What did it take as a whole to lock down a player like that?
Hope that he missed, show him different coverages, mixed match pitches. We got to be a pitcher that can go out and throw fastballs, curveballs, sinkers, knuckleballs, everything. So I thought the coaching staff did a great job of putting us in a position, and we all listened to the cues and the comments to go out there and do that.
And LeBron, I'm sure the crowd plays such a big role in these home wins. Now you take a 2-0 series lead to Houston. How do you bring this same energy on the road?
We don't have a choice. I mean, it's a postseason, so it's first to four. It's never the first to one. It's never the first to two. And our whole mindset now is focused on game three. We're going to a hostile environment. Guys tend to play better at home than they do on the road, so we have to be ready for that pack. We got to be ready for that intensity.
How good did that behind-the-back dunk feel for you?
Listen, I'm just super blessed and super humbled to be able to still play the game that I love to play at my age. And that's it. That's all I got for you, Ashley.
Great win. Thanks so much, LeBron.
I appreciate it.
So you heard what LeBron had to say. So what does this mean for the Lakers? Well, now the Lakers went from the team like, oh my God, they're afraid of KD, they're going to lose, to now looking like the team that will probably most likely win this series. I mean, it's crazy to see, and it looks like what's going to happen is the Lakers are probably going to win this series unless something happens. Houston wins 4 out of 5 games, which is going to be a tall order. And they're most likely going to get Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves back for round 2. Who would have thought? And you got to give the man his props. I'm talking about the man. In this case, I'm talking about LeBron James. You got to give him his props. As much as it pains me to do so, you got to give the guy his flowers, man.
Dreamerspro, you sound like you about to cry, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. You sound like you about to cry to give LeBron his props. But I'm happy you're doing this video because again, 2-0 against KD is a big deal. Let's see if he wins this series, especially if he sweep them. They get 2 in Houston. Can't say nothing about LeBron right now. Can't.
Played very, very well. I didn't see him having a performance like that. I just didn't see it. And he shut me the hell up. And I know his fans are running through the streets, rejoicing, pouring honey all over each other, screaming and hollering and twerking it up. And I mean, y'all deserve that. I'm not even being funny. Y'all deserve that. I was wrong. I thought the Lakers were going to get their asses like body slammed. I thought they were going to lose. I thought Houston was going to step up and do something. And boy, do I look like an idiot right now because Houston didn't do any of that. I mean, for goodness sake, they held Kevin Durant to, I think, 3 points in the second half. They just couldn't figure out the Lakers. And I think LeBron gave them, he wasn't the only one, and I think it's important we point out the role players, but he gave them an emotional punch. When he hit that 3-point shot at the top of the key over Şengün, and he was very demonstrative and all of that, I think.
Yeah, that was a wild comment. Yeah, Dreamerspro, he still got to throw his shots, but again, he's giving LeBron his credit. He's giving LeBron his due. So you gotta let him do it. Because again, he looked like he about to cry doing it, but shout out to the brother for doing it. Again, you got to be objective.
I think his guys knew that this guy's here to play. We're not just here to watch. We're here to participate, and we're here to win this game. And I think that certainly there's no question about it that LeBron is a better basketball player than Kevin Durant. There's no question about it. None whatsoever. None whatsoever, because LeBron is KD's
That there's no question about that. LeBron is top 10 all time. KD might be top 15 all time. So he's somewhere between that 11 and 15. But LeBron is top 5 all time. Like, you're not going to convince me that you can name 5 basketball players better than LeBron. That's out. I actually would even put him in top 3 of all time, if I'm going to be honestly real. KD is somewhere between 11 and 15.
Senior by 4 years. Seniors in by 4 years. 4 bloody seasons. He's running through the lane, doing reverse dunks. It was just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And, it's his greatness. I feel like if LeBron had a different personality and his fans had a different, they had a different behavior in terms of a set of people, it would be easier to remember. I had LeBron as my top 4 greatest player for the longest time. What made me move him out of my top 5 was his antics. But on this particular night, you got to give the guy his flowers, man. He shut people up. And I'm one of those people that got shut up. And I got to come up here and I got to face the music. I didn't run. Some people are like, oh man, why you ain't go live, bro? That game finished at 6:10 my time, AM. I wasn't, even if the Lakers won, I wasn't going to go. I mean, the Lakers lost, I wasn't going to go live. It's too late. But I definitely said, you know what, you got to show up and take these lashes, because these LeBron fans, they're going to be waiting for you. So here I am. Have your fun in the comment section.
Oh yeah, shout out to Dreamerspro for doing that. You showed your manhood right then and there, because you had to take your licks and you took them. So shout out to bro. I made sure to like that video. Make sure y'all go subscribe to bro channel. Let's see what people talking about in the comment section. Facts, LeBron can play all positions. No, I mean, period. LeBron is top 5 all time. Like, if we made a top 10 list of top 5 list of greatest basketball players of all time, LeBron is in the top 5. No way. No way you could make a top 5 list. Like right now, try it. I challenge you to try it. Name me 5 basketball players better than LeBron. That's not a big statement. That's not a big statement at all. Even AI believe that. Like, a lot of people, like, and I say, I mean AI, I don't mean Allen Iverson. I mean, like, artificial intelligence. Let me see if I can find that video. Let me see if I can find that video. Let's see.
A data scientist put together an algorithm with every single statistical thing known to man in the NBA. And here was the list. At number 11, Shaquille O'Neal. At number 10, Larry Bird. At number 9, Magic Johnson. At number...
Wait, come on. Am I sharing this? Oh, yeah, I am sharing it. Oh, cool. Yeah, let's start that back over again.
A data scientist put together an algorithm with every single statistical thing known to man in the NBA. And here was the list. At number 11, Shaquille O'Neal. At number 10, Larry Bird. At number 9, Magic Johnson. At number 8, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 7, Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 6, Bill Russell. Number 5, Kobe Bryant. Number 4, LeBron James. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 2, Tim Duncan. And number 1, Michael Jordan. So here's my question. Are we underrating Tim Duncan?
Yeah, people are definitely underrating Tim Duncan. Definitely. I can't agree more. But that list I wasn't jacking, because there's no way Shaq is number 11. Nah. Somebody else got to get moved out that list. But let me get back to the comments. You said, nah, I'm not jacking this list. Bird ain't better than LeBron. That's out. Bird ain't better than LeBron. Karl Malone is not in the top 10. That's out. Bill Russell is not better than LeBron. Wilt Chamberlain is not better than LeBron. Not hearing that. Not hearing it. Nope. Can't do that. Yeah, it's always good. It's always good. People are laughing. Yep, I'm not acknowledging that. That's out. But anyway, family, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for everybody who tuned in tonight. Got to shout out Justin March, my first moderator, for gifting somebody a membership. Make sure you pick up your own memberships. And if he gifted you one, keep it going. And if you feel like that number is too high, you can always drop your membership level down. And remember, do it through the computer. Also, shout out to Lee D. Clinton for the 10. Shout out PJ the Dude for the 199. Shout out RBG for the win for the 199. And also, family, make sure you hitting this link. Please support me in hitting this link. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you and peace.